Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me. I am really excited about today, admittedly a little bit nervous because we've never done this before, and I can see there are already so many people joining this feed, so thank you so much guys for jumping in early. It is very, very encouraging to me to have so many of you just as excited as I am to be here today. So please, when you come in, please say hello, maybe tell me what country you're from because we have people coming in from all over the world. And tell me if maybe how you found my channel, maybe if you have a favorite video that you've loved so far, or if there's something that you would love to see on my channel, I would love to hear it. I am going to give a few more minutes just for more people to join because I know some people get the notifications and it takes a few moments. So as those come in, I am going to have a look and just say hello to some people that have jumped in early. And while we do that, if you are new, I am Sarah Renae Clark, and this channel is all about art and getting creative. I make adult coloring books. I do a lot of adult coloring tutorials, a lot of product reviews and all that kind of stuff. And I do like to do just some other fun creative stuff from time to time as well. So if you haven't had a chance to check out some of my other videos, make sure you do that after this stream. But today we're going to be working on a coloring page from this book, Confessions of a Coloring Addict, which you can get from Amazon, although my tip for you is actually to get the printable version from my website because then you can print it on your own paper. Because as much as, yes, this is the book that I have published, because I have self-published it through Amazon, little hint, their paper isn't actually all that great. So I actually like to offer the printable versions. You can print it on your own paper, and the page I'm using today, I have put up as a freebie on my website. So the description in this video has a link where you can download that if you want to color along today. But while you do that, I'm going to have a look on my computer here at the comments that have come in so far, just to say hi to everyone who is here. Now, there are a lot of comments flooding in, so thank you everyone so far who's jumped in. But just to say a quick hello, hi to Logan, to Rob, Tiffany Smith, Anna, Kiwi D's, I think I'm guessing that's not a real name, but I'll take that from New Zealand. Awesome. Lydia, Dawn, Therese. Now this is definitely the part where all these people, and I know a lot of you I see in the Facebook group all the time, this is the part where we realize that I've probably been mispronouncing your names in my head all this time, so I apologize. Therese Sprinkle, Dawn, welcome from Illinois. Ooh. Emily Illustrator, you have your own little YouTube channel. I've seen that. Debbie Luden from USA as well. Fancy Family from Sweden, is that right? Then we've got Mandy in New South Wales, Australia. Awesome. Homeschooling, very brave of you. Good job. Pamela from the US. We've got Laurie here from the US as well. Amy from Florida. Mike is here, Debbie's here, Melissa's here. I am missing so many people, I'm sorry. But we've got Bake With Me, Maggie, so many people here. Josh, I get lots of comments from Josh. Ellie Galaxy, Kirsty Andrews. Oh, there are so many people. So what you guys can do, this, I would love to be just a bit of a casual color and chat. Now, because I've never done this before, I have no idea if I'm going to be able to keep up with your comments. So fingers crossed, we'll just see how we go. But I would like this to be a chance for us to just get to know each other a little bit better. So please keep the comments coming and feel free to ask questions as we go. I will try to answer them. I will try to keep this as a two-way conversation as we color. Obviously, I know that for some of you, you are here to color, so I don't want to get too caught up in the comments. We'll try to keep a flow happening. We'll see how we go today. But I will try to get to your comments throughout the video and see if we can keep this conversation going. Now, I also do have to apologize in advance. I have just come off the back of a cold, so my throat's still a little bit funny. So if my voice sounds a bit weird and if I cough or kind of clear my throat a bit too much, I apologize in advance for that as well today. So, but I think we'll be fine. Thank you to everyone who is commenting. It is really nice to see so much support and to see so many people. And I'm sorry that I can't say hi to everyone. We currently have 162 people already joining us so quickly. And I can see a few people jumped on that little challenge at the start, so that's awesome. But I would really like to get started. If anyone else pops in, you can rewind the video, or if you've come in late, you can actually go back and watch the start of this stream later. But I want to get started because I know that some of you are really keen to see what we're doing today. This is actually a little bit of a behind the scenes, and what I would like to do with my live streams, rather than build them into just a long tutorial, I kind of want to use this as a little bit of a behind the scenes as well. So I actually have here my Nyoni and Markart pencils that I'm doing a review on later in the week. So you get a little bit of an advanced preview at my next video, because every time I do a video, and some of you have seen, I like to, as a part of a review, color a page. The thing is, when I color those pages, I've had a lot of people commenting that they would really like a slowed down version and a longer tutorial, because I like to speed the videos up. I like to make it nice and quick, because not everyone wants to sit for an hour or 2 hours and actually watch the whole thing. They just want something nice and quick. And that's worked really well for me. But this becomes a bit of a chance, not just to do that, but to also have that casual chat, because I think that's just fun. I just like that. But this is going to be that chance for us, because I'm going to be sitting coloring this page anyway. I thought what I usually do is actually call a friend or do something while I'm coloring. I thought, why not chat with you guys? So we're going to do that together. So I'm going to walk you through what is sort of my process. It does change a little bit every time I color, and I have shown a bit of my thought process in some videos, because it is very different. So different live streams will look different, and today I'm taking a different approach again. But with this set of pencils, we're gonna do something new, and you get to see it in the full real-time version, and you can color along with me. So it's gonna be quite different to my other videos, because I can't speed this up. This is a real time. I don't know how much I'm gonna color today, because I don't wanna keep you here for like 6 hours. And sometimes that's how long my pictures take. So we'll just see how we go. But I think it'll be fun. I hope you guys are excited, because I don't know, I'm a bit excited. I think it'll be fun. We've got Dora asking about cheap pencils. I do have lots of videos about cheap pencils, and these pencils I'm looking at today are actually one of the cheap ones. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this today. I don't want to go in too much today about these pencils, because that's what the video coming up at the end of this week is going to be. But I do have to say, my first impression of these is actually pretty good. This is the Markart pencils and the Nyoni pencils. Now, if you do have these, as we go, I will actually go through the colors that I'm using. If you don't have these, don't stress, because you can just use any pencils for what we're doing today. You don't have to do this exactly the same. So let's get started. Sorry, I'm a little bit excited. I need to kind of calm down, because if I go at this hyper pace that you're probably used to on my channel, if I go at this pace for the next hour or so, I'm probably going to wear myself out. So let's just calm down a little bit. So if you haven't grabbed, let's just have a quick look at our book here. So this is Confessions of a Colouring Addict. The page we're going to do today, hang on, let me just open this up. So this book is actually available on my website as a printable. You can get it on Amazon, but like I said earlier, this paper is quite thin. So my general advice is actually to get the printable version, because then you can just print your favorite pages, or you can print it on your favorite paper. So I actually offer all of my coloring books as printables, and I generally don't advertise that I actually have them on Amazon, but they are all on Amazon if you do prefer the book. So today's page, where are we, is a bit towards the back, I think. Might have missed it. Nope, somewhere in here. This book is all about colouring. It's a colouring book about colouring. So they're all jokes about colouring. I colour, therefore I hoard. Here we go. Never stop colouring. So it felt like an appropriate page. So I've actually printed this out, and you can see the difference in the paper quality. This is printed on what is actually still a very cheap paper, my Nina Bristol Vellum. It's actually one of the cheaper Bristol Vellum papers. I did a paper video a while ago comparing all the different papers, and this was one of the ones that I recommend for printing on because it's a lot cheaper than those expensive Bristols, but it's still that thicker paper. And I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference, but feeling the difference between these two, this is like probably twice as thick as this, and it's got just a bit more tooth. So it's a lot easier to work on with pencils and with markers. So we're going to use that today. And the first thing I like to do, my iPad is magnetically stuck to my board over there. The first thing I like to do when I pick a colouring page is, well, depending on the page it is. A page like this, because it doesn't have a landscape or a person or anything that has obvious colour choices, it's something you could really colour with any colours you want. I like to pick a colour palette. Now, if you know me, you probably know where this is going. I have my colour catalogue, and so I have that on here. Let's pull it up. No passwords allowed. So this is the colour catalogue volume 2. And this is where I was going to get these from today. So here I have all my different color palettes, and I wanted your help to pick a color palette today. But instead of picking one from all of these options, I've actually already pre-selected a few because I thought that would be a better way to do this. And I need you guys to help me vote. Now, can we do a poll on here? I think I can. So I'm going to put a poll up. Okay. So I've picked 4 options for this page. I wonder if I can lay them out here, that I thought would all look good on this page. So these are my 4 options, and what I'll do, let's put a letter on them to give you. So we're going to go, oh, actually they got numbers on them. Can you read those numbers? We can read those numbers. Okay. Oh, I'll write letters anyway. It's probably quicker. So we've got A up the top, B here, and then C, and then D. Okay, so I'm going to put up a little quick poll here, and then what I want you guys to do is tell me which of these color palettes you think we should use today. And while you do that, I'm going to have a look at the comments again and see what else we've got in our comments. And then we're going to use one of these color palettes today to color this page. And once we've decided on a palette, I'll show you which pencils I intend to use and where we go from there. So let's quickly just pop in a poll because I haven't done that yet, so you can't even vote yet. Silly me. Hang on, don't comment. Let's do it in a poll. Because otherwise, if you're writing them in, I'm not going to be able to have time to count all those. Did that work? Did I actually put the poll in? Oh, there we go. Okay. So use the poll, guys. Use the poll. Don't just comment because otherwise I'm not going to count them. I'm sorry. Okay. So I think we have B is winning so far. It's got 42% of the votes. While we are picking through that, what else have I got here? Let's have a look at some of these other comments. Keep voting, keep voting. All the votes are changing a little bit. Love is Luck is asking, what are your favorite markers? Now, I'm still kind of on the hunt for markers. I haven't tested a lot of different ones yet, but so far, so I've always really liked alcohol markers. I love how they blend. I love what they do. I've loved Copic markers. They were sort of the first ones that I really tried, but they're very expensive. So I then found Ohuhu markers, which is what I use in most of my videos. And I went and bought the big set. I'm now actually thinking about giving them to a friend so that I can buy the new big set because they've released new colors. So I really like Ohuhu. But in saying that, I am thinking about trying some others because I haven't really tried enough others to definitively say that they are the best. So Ohuhu are my current favorite, but I haven't actually tried enough others. So I highly recommend them, but I will be doing some more testing and some more comparisons to tell you which are the best. But I do recommend them, and if you can afford Copic are amazing. So that's, I don't know how much that helps you for now. When it comes to water-based markers, there's a completely different goal with water-based markers. I recently bought the set of, get out here, my Tombow dual brush pens, That's these ones. So these you can still blend, but not like an alcohol marker. But these are kind of like the top end of a water-based marker. And you can even use them for like watercolor and stuff like that. So I've bought these because from what I understand, they pretty much are the best of the best when it comes to water-based. And they have a beautiful brush pen tip as well. And I have been pretty impressed with these. I have bought some cheaper water-based markers as well. So from Arteza, I don't know how to say that, and a few of those others, and they don't compare to these. So if that helps, these are a bit more expensive as well, especially in Australia. I ended up buying these online, but they're pretty good. I do plan on doing some videos on them soon and just doing some more marker videos. I've been focused so much on pencils for the last 6 months. I think it's time to focus on markers a bit as well. Markers are just so much more expensive. It just takes a bit more investment to do those comparison videos. But I think we can start doing some of that soon. So you can expect more of that on my channel in the coming months, I think. How's our poll going? Oh, B is still looking strong at this point. I think we can probably eliminate D looking at this poll so far. I think we can probably call it actually, or B and C. All right, I'll tell you what we're gonna do. I've actually got here, let's see if this changes any opinions. What I've done is I've already pre-done, because these colors are not all gonna be in my sets that I've got, because the sets I've got are not the full 120. So I've gone and picked my colors already based on these sets. So that goes with that. Let's see if this changes any opinions. So let's just eliminate A, because B and C are standing strong. 352, here we go. So they're actually kind of both fairly similar to each other. So we've got, well, this is confusing. Let's do B on that side and C on that side. Okay. Does this change anyone's opinion? If you voted A or D, I don't know if you can change your vote. I don't know. These are the colors that I would be using. And you know what? Looking at these two, sometimes with a color palette, so just to explain what I did here. So color palettes, I think some people, when they look at a color palette, they think that it then applies a rule. Now, I am very much of the mindset that art has no rules. Everything we use, every tool, every resource, the color catalog included, is a resource. It's supposed to help you be more creative. It's not supposed to limit your creativity. So something like this one, B being the perfect example, you can see here I've got a lot more colors than the 5 in the color palette, because this is the inspiration. This is not now a limitation. So this does not mean I can only color with 5 colors. So what I did was I actually went through my pencil set, and because I'd already swatched these out, which I will do in the video later this week, because I don't have a color catalog companion for this set yet. So what I did was I took my swatches and I've just matched them up like this. So this is what you can do if you have a set of pencils that I don't have a companion for. And I just looked and went, which ones are the closest match? Now, because some of these don't have a perfect match, so this one I actually looked at and thought, look, that's pretty close. I'll take that. I think that will create a similar color. So I've popped down 18. And then this one I actually looked at and went, I don't have a color that matches that. But I think if I mixed 25 and 9, so 25 is this color here. I thought if I mixed that with number 9, which is this color here, that maybe I could make that color. So on my swatch here, what I've actually done is put those two colors and then layered them on top of each other. So you can see when I layered them on top of each other, it actually got pretty close. But keeping them separate has actually added 2 more similar colors to my color palette. So that's one way that you can kind of extend the palette a bit further, but they still kind of work together with these other colors. Same here, the 3 wasn't quite right for this, so I added 4 as well. It's a darker orange, but it still kind of works within this color scheme. And then I think I added 10 just because when I did pick 18 for this, I thought it was quite dark, and I thought that just adding a lighter pink would probably just bump the whole palette up a little bit more. So I decided to add 10 as well. So I think based on everyone's thoughts, I think we're gonna go with this one. So let's pop all these other bits and pieces away. This is our color palette. And so if you do have your Markart and Nyoni sets, you can get these numbers here. These, for both of these sets, it's the same numbers. So if you have a Markart pencils or Nyoni pencils, these are your colors, so you're welcome to grab them out. If you have another pencil set, just try and match what you can to these colors. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just see what you can, or you can do your own color scheme. You don't have to match this at all, but if you're wanting to color along, grab that. While you do that, I'll give you just a minute to prepare, and I'm just going to see if we have any more questions in the comments. Let's just end that poll to get it out of the way. And I'm just going to see if we have any more questions, because I'm going to miss all these questions if I don't stop and read them as we go. Okay. Now, Natalie has a really good question here about having a hard time colouring because of carpal tunnel in your wrists and arthritis in your fingers. So how do you compensate for this problem? So I'm guessing that your main problem with this is just pain in your hands. What I would say with this is one of those things where you're probably going to have to buy more expensive pencils, sadly, or you're just going to have to look around for the right brands. So one thing I've found in buying different pencils is that the kind of pencils that don't lay down as much pigment actually take a lot more pressure. Now, if you watch my Holbein video that I did 2 weeks ago, this was something I really noticed. I've been using a lot nicer pencils for a while. I splurged and bought myself the Caran d'Ache a little while ago, and I really like my Prismacolor. And even some of these pencils like the Markart and the Nyoni are actually pretty good. But when I went and used the, I've forgotten the name of them, the Holbein, the cheap ones, the Holbein cheap alternatives, what were they called? Help me out, someone in the Pastel Love. Thank you, Shane. The Pastel Love pencils. Now, the Pastel Love pencils, compared to the Holbein, on paper, they looked the same. But when I was using them, my hand was cramping. And I stopped and I realized I haven't had hand cramps for years. And I used to get hand cramps all the time. The difference for me was the pencils I was using. I always thought that it was just my technique, and sure, my technique has changed a lot and I've learned to have a lighter grip. But I think it's a lot easier to lighten your grip when you're using pencils that don't require pressure. And I've heard other people say this as well, that some pencils just take more pressure because they don't lay down the pigment as well. So really the trick is, and you can just look at reviews online to find the right pencils, you just need pencils that just don't require as much pressure to get that pigment down, and therefore you'll be able to lighten your grip, and therefore you're not going to have that hand pain. You can also buy different grips and things that you can actually wrap around the pencils that kind of make them chunkier, and therefore they soften, and I don't even know what you call them. Someone in the comments might be able to help out with that. You can get different grips and things that you actually put around the pencils, or I've even seen some people just tape like bubble wrap or something around their pencils to actually soften the feel of the pencil so that it's not so small in your hand. So there are definitely ways to help with that. Definitely doesn't have to be a hindrance. I probably still wouldn't sit in color for a few hours if that is something that is an issue, but there are definitely other ways to work around that. So it doesn't have to be something that holds you back. Let's see what else we've got here in terms of questions, and then we'll keep moving. More videos using Ohuhu products? Yes, like I said before, I definitely want to do more videos using markers in general. I haven't really done a lot of that so far. We've had a lot of videos with pencils, and that's just because it's been really good for my channel, and because I've just gotten really familiar with pencils. We've kind of just got caught up in a lot of pencil videos lately. It's amazing how we have not been short of ideas, which is a good thing. It means that I've got lots of content still planned for you guys. Perfect example being the sharpener video that I've been promising for months, which is only a few weeks away now. We're just waiting on one more set of, I think, 2 or 3 sharpeners that got lost in the mail that are being reordered, and then we're going to do it. Okay. Lygia, you mentioned about your pages with tech issue with the website. Close the page without downloading. If you send an email, Shane can probably check that now and sort that out for you. We'll get that to you. So I'm so sorry, guys, for the dead time right now while I try and read comments. This is the one problem with trying to do this. Yep, good tip, Naomi. Make sure you're set to 1080p in the settings of the video. That's a really good tip for everyone because when we're coloring, you really want the high quality video so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I think, all right. Oh, no, there's a whole bunch more questions that just loaded. Okay, I'm just gonna skip ahead. Marker storage. Okay, so just really quickly for the last question and then we'll move on. The marker storage on the wall, that's actually from Crafter's Companion. So they're the ones that make, what's the brand? Crafter's Companion are associated with Spectrum Noir. You can buy them on Amazon. They're also the same as this unit here. Hey, I'll give you a close-up. Here we go. Ooh. So this unit is my Crafter's Companion unit. I'm not sure what camera angle you guys are on right now, so I think you're on the front camera. So they come apart like this, and they just come in these little trays, and you can either stack them straight on top of each other, which is what the unit behind me is, or you can stack them on the angle like this so that they cascade. So that's where I've got this unit. So the unit behind me is actually just two side by side. Although one tip that I do have, if you buy these, because they actually connect side by side, my advice is don't try and connect them side by side, just put them side by side, because the ones up there, every time that we tried to connect them side by side, I swear we thought we were gonna break them. Not a good idea. So don't do that, please. Yeah, I really thought we were gonna break them all. Okay, let's move on. So now coloring this page, I haven't actually planned any further than this. So, okay, let's do this. So what I've done, this is a step I don't always do, but for you guys, if you feel stuck, because I think for me, the bit of adrenaline and excitement and anticipation of doing this live has left me a bit stuck. So I am slightly prepared if you don't know what to do next on your page and you're feeling creative block, photocopy some mini pages. This is what I do sometimes, actually not that often, but this is a good way to give yourself a chance to kind of do a little bit of a dud trial. I use it just to kind of block out where I want to put the colors so that I know what I'm doing before I dive in on the big page. So we've got our colors here. Now I didn't put black on here, but there is black. I don't know why I missed that. So let's just add black to that list, which is a number 28. If you don't have that, sorry about that. Just add our black. Okay, so what I'm thinking, let's just use one of these mini ones. I'm just gonna move my big page out of the way for a second. So what I'm thinking is we do a black background, right? So like I said, this is just really rough. You don't have to do these mini ones. We'll just have a look and you can give me a yay or nay if you think we should go ahead. So I'm thinking we do a black background. And what I was thinking is I would like to kind of work with the 3D look that these letters have. So the way I want to create the 3D is try and, how do I explain this? Let's use the big one as an example. Each of these sections that are sort of the depth of this, I want to kind of use our shading to show the depth. So I think we need a darker version of all these colors in these shaded areas. On the front, we want our brightest colors, but I would actually like to kind of get a little bit creative and create a gradient of color. So the colors that we have here, I think we can do a bit of a gradient with these. I should have actually started by getting my colors out while you guys were getting your colors out, but it won't take me too long. So I do have both sets here and we'll just mix them up because why not? So we've got our number 2. No, that's not number 2. That's number 2. We've got our number 3. I'm kind of mixing them up because I kind of want to see if there's any difference between the pencils that I notice, or if they're much the same, because that's part of what this video is about, is are these pencils actually identical? Is there any difference? Okay, and then we've got our 25 here. These already make a really good gradient, but I think they actually work really well like the brown and the orange would make really good sort of shadows for the yellows. So I'm not sure yet whether we'll use them for the shading rather than the gradient. I actually would like to try and do a gradient from the yellow to the pink. So we might use the orange to the pink. So let's see what we'll do. We're gonna get our two lightest yellow and orange. So I'm totally just ignoring you all for a moment and just in my element here while I brainstorm this, and then I'll come back to reality in a second. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking as my little gradient here. It's kind of, if you think about a color wheel, as much as a color wheel doesn't really have the pink because it has the red in the middle, we're just kind of skipping the red. So it's kind of a little bit of an analogous gradient. It actually, if you look at it on here, it does kind of work. In fact, if we try to include that color in the middle a little bit, I wonder if we could do that. Thinking. We'll see how we go. We might skip that color and just blend the orange into the pink. We'll see what happens. So what I'm thinking is, let's grab a scrap piece of paper. Didn't bring any paper. Behind me is where I stash all my paper. One day, I don't know if you guys are interested, one day I should do a tour of my little studio here. I try to keep it organised. All the mess is over there. I won't tour that part. Okay, so what I'm thinking is we do a yellow gradient into the orange, the light orange. Maybe into this dark orange, but just very lightly. And then into the pink. Or is the pink too dark? And then maybe we need that 9 in there to lighten it a bit. Where's that 9? Here it is. We might be able to use the 9 just in that middle to transition it a little bit, but just over the top. Like not as its own color, just to help the blending, to try and create that middle color. All right, so I'm just gonna do a second layer. So I've just done like one layer overlapping them a little bit, very lightly, and now I'm just gonna do a second layer overlapping them again. Hey Shane, can you just watch the comments for a second and check if anyone has any questions about what I'm doing? Because I'm not reading. So now we're just overlapping those sections a bit, just in a light layer. And I'm kind of using a circular motion while I'm doing this as well. Not that you can probably tell that. Okay, and then we go for our orange again. So this is just, I just want to see what this gradient will look like, because if this gradient works in these colors, then I want to try and replicate this gradient on top of my never stop coloring on the letters, down the letters, right? So I just want to see that the colors will work together before I go doing it on the page, so that we sort of have a reference then to look at. Hopefully that makes sense. And it's fun. I don't know if you've noticed, but I like coloring gradients. I like making random rainbows. All right. I think that actually works quite well. All right, so you can still see that pattern in there. How's that look for everyone? What do we think? Pamela's here. Hi, Pamela. Okay, so this, I'm happy with that. So we're going to do that, and what we'll do is we'll do it on top of here. Now this is obviously, I'm not going to try and blend it in my little example here, so just bear with me. So what we'll do is we'll kind of just create like a overall gradient on here. So this is just for a overall color placement. This is not, like I said, this is just for a reference. So it gives us just a look at whether these colors will actually work, right? So we'll kind of do it in that kind of arrangement on there. And then what we'll do is we'll use the darker colors then in these sort of sections underneath to actually create those shadows in here, which will probably more use the browns in there once we've blocked out the main colors. But we'll actually work on those shadows once we've got the main colors sorted out. I think we can make that work, and then we'll worry about the paint splatters in the background once we've seen what the main bit looks like, and we'll decide on that then. All right, I think we can make a start. So that's, sometimes I just need some kind of just starting somewhere. That's the whole thing of the key to breaking creative block is to start somewhere. Now that is not always, sometimes that is just pick a part on the page. Sometimes that might just be color something in the background or just pick somewhere and start. Sometimes that is just starting coloring, not on the page. So in this case, it was grab a little thing and just start plotting out colors or start coloring a gradient. Just do something, because just the act of doing something creative. Now all of a sudden I feel, I don't know how you guys feel. I don't know if you did that with me or you're just watching, but for me, I actually now feel just a little bit of that creative release. I don't now feel blocked from starting the page. So that's a little bit of a tip to help you through that creative block that I know so many of us face. So now on our actual page, we're going to try and create that same gradient. What I might do, just to make it a little bit easier for us to see that as a reference, I'm just going to cut this out and actually keep it with us. Just so we have that handy. And if you do sort of not, if you don't really know where to start and stop the gradients, you can, now I'm not going to do this for mine, but you can use a ruler here, and you can actually use one of your colors and just very lightly do like a little marker or something, just to kind of show, you know what, I will do it because it helps to show you guys a sort of easy way. You want to be very light though, because you don't want to see these lines later. But you could use this just to say, okay, this is where I kind of want the yellow to go to. And then we can, so that bit above there will be yellow. And then we can say, okay, what other colors do we have? So the light yellow can go above there, that medium yellow, that's not really a word, is it? The gold can go below there. And then we can have our orange can start about here. And so I'm doing my gradient on an angle as well. I just find that visually looks a bit more interesting. So we can do our orange from about here. And again, I'm only doing it on the very, very top of the words. I'm not doing it underneath the words, like on the backs. I'm not doing the depth yet. I'm just doing that top front face. And then our heaviest pink I'll kind of do to about here, and then we'll just kind of see how it all blends together from there. You also don't have to do these in a straight line. You could actually create like a curve, and like there's no rules. Do whatever you want. So I'm going to start with my light yellow, and we're going to follow the same method here. The only difference is that instead of doing it on this, we're doing it around the shapes. So it does make it a little bit more complicated, but we're just going to start with a light layer. Now, for the sake of time, I'm probably going to try and do this all a little bit quicker than I normally would, but hopefully these pencils are somewhat forgiving, and we'll just see what happens. Now, the question is, should we do these little bits the same color, or should we change the color? Might leave them, actually. You can do what you like. I'm going to leave them. I'm going to pick a different color for them. Sherry's asking, did I draw the background on my wall? Sherry, I have a video about that. I drew the background, but not on the wall. I drew the background on the computer. And then I used my Cricut machine to cut it all out and painstakingly put it all together like a jigsaw puzzle, which was actually a very slow process. But now the Cricut has come out with a machine that cuts much larger pieces. And actually, they've sent it to me. They've sent me the new machine so that I can finish the wall. Because they saw that I stopped and that I just haven't done this bit yet. And they saw that and went, you know what, we'll give you the new machine so that you can finish it. Because the old process was just a bit of a nightmare, trying to do the wall, because I literally, some of these parts I had to cut like one line into like 10 pieces to fit in the 12 by 12 space. It's all in the video. If you go back and find my video, maybe someone can pop a link in the comments. I don't want to waste my time stopping right now and finding those video links, because otherwise we're gonna lose all our coloring time. But if someone else wants to go and find a link and pop it there of when I turned my wall into a coloring book, I think the video is called. It's all there, the process. And it was a lot of fun, but it took me about 3 days. So I do feel like I'm probably rushing this a little bit. I probably would do this a lot slower normally. I tend to do things a bit more rushed when I'm on camera. Now, I did say, now this is a mistake that I'm going to make now, is I've stopped right at this line, but I don't want to stop right at the line. I actually want to fade out, because to create a nice gradient, I kind of want to fade this out to nothing so that the next color blends a bit more naturally into it. Now you might notice I'm trying to hold my pencil further back. It's actually a lot easier to hold your pencil lighter if you're holding it further back. Which, that is a sign that these pencils are actually pretty good, because you can't do that with pencils that don't lay down pigment easily. So that is a win for the Markart and Nyoni pencils. I shouldn't give you too many spoilers on these pencils, because then you won't have any reason to watch my video this week. But no, they look, I've actually been pretty impressed. I do like them. And as much as everyone says that they're identical, I have found some differences. So there's a reason to watch Friday's video, because there is at least one major difference that I'm not going to tell you, because you have to watch the video. There is at least one difference that is a legitimate reason that one brand, if they were the same price, if they were different prices, that might be enough to change. If they were the same price, I have one very good reason to buy one brand over the other, that I think is actually a very significant reason. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to be a bit cheeky. Charlene, they are Markart. I have the case here. I haven't shown you the case, just to make it easier for you. So the pencils that we're using today is Markart and Nyoni. They are basically the same pencil. They come from the same factory. They are in fact the same pencils, but there is a difference between the brands, which I will be talking about in my video on Friday. But the performance is the same. And the numbers of the colors are the same. So if you buy one, you own the other. There's no need to buy both. That's the biggest thing, I guess, to get out of it. But if you're choosing which one to buy, then there's a reason to watch Friday's video. But I'm actually pretty impressed. For the budget pencil that they are, I think they're pretty good. Because some budget pencils are budget for a reason. Let's just say that. Some budget pencils look pretty. And they're nice to collect, but they're not that nice to use. If I can put that nicely. But no, I'm actually pretty impressed with these. So what I'm doing at the moment is just working in light layers, and I've got my second color now. So I'm overlapping the first color a little bit and just trying to create a smooth transition between the colors. So the trick to doing that is really just light layers. It does help to keep your pencil sharp. I'm kind of getting a little bit lazy in not using the sharpest points as I go. But the sharper, especially for cheaper pencils, the sharper your point, the easier it is to create that better blend between colors. And the easier it is to create lighter layers when you've got a sharper point as well. So if you ever see me in a video not using a sharp point, it's not me contradicting myself, it's just me being lazy. That's something to keep in mind. I'm going to switch to this other version of the same. Is that the same? Yes. See if it actually feels any different. So these two are the same pencil as far as I'm aware, but one is Markart and one is Nyoni. So I'm trying to work out if there are any other differences other than just the branding at this point. I would be interested in anyone else that's actually tried both brands to hear what you think as well. Everyone spam the like button. Yes, do that. Now, sorry, Melissa, I'm trying to, maybe, Shane, can you sort of keep an eye on the comments while you're there? Have you got the comments up? People are telling me off for not reading the chat anymore. Maybe Shane can backtrack and find out what I've missed, because apparently I've missed something. I'm trying to focus, people. I'm trying to focus. But I don't want to ignore you because this is supposed to be color in chat. I'm not trying to I'm trying to multitask without getting distracted.
Someone's asking if the quote on the page is like a paint splash.
Oh, okay. Well, the quote itself isn't really a paint splash. It's just kind of pretty lettering, but there's paint splashes behind it. So I guess it can kind of be whatever you want, really. I did this one quite a while ago. This is actually a few years old, this design.
Someone's asking what the quote says.
It says, "Never stop colouring." See, this is why I need Shane to be a bit more involved in the chat. Everyone say hi to Shane. He is here. He can read the chats for us. He said he wasn't going to. And now I've dragged him in. We appreciate you, Shane. Okay, I think we're ready for our next colour, which I think was our darker orange, wasn't it? Okay, have we got anything else? I might be able to keep up with the comments after you sort of catch up. Someone asked about flat or angled surface to colour. You know what? I was thinking about this the other day. I've never tried an angled surface, but I probably should try it because I have a really bad habit of slouching. You'll probably notice throughout this video I'm going to get really slumped. And I am short-sighted, so I also tend to do this. But doing videos is training me to sit up straighter. So it's training me to sit up straighter because Shane always tells me off for having my head in the shot. So I have to sit up straighter. It's also training me to hold the pencil better because when I hold my, as we call it, the death grip, you can't see what I'm doing. So I have to hold the pencil better so that you can see what I'm doing. So you see, colouring on camera is really good for me. But the problem I have with colouring flat though is also we have studio lights here and sometimes they reflect, but also because I'm sitting back, my perspective isn't always great. So there's been a few times where I've drawn something and then afterwards I've picked it up and looked at it and I've gone, oh, that's not what it looked like when it was sitting flat. So colouring flat's not so bad because the lines are drawn, but drawing flat definitely has some disadvantages. But I've always done that. I've never actually tried drawing on a raised surface. It would make sense to do so. Something I should look into, I think. This is just the setup that we created and it's kind of just what we've always done.
Talk about the death grip.
The death grip. Yeah, so I've actually not been attacked too much for this one, or other people get attacked for using the death grip as they call it. So for those who don't know what we're talking about the correct way to hold a pencil, which is holding it properly like this, not the it's kind of like the wrapping your whole hand around like this is the death grip, because it actually is bad for your hand. It hurts your hand. So if you're getting really sore hands, it's probably from this grip. In saying that, I use this grip a lot. I have found that as I have unlearned that grip, the more that I learn to hold my pencil loosely and further back, I get better results for sure. When I burnish, I tend to go back to this grip. It's just partly habit and it's just good for different things. I don't think there's anything wrong with colouring however you need to colour to get the results, but I do think it is worth learning the different techniques. I have a problem with anybody criticising anybody about how they do things. I think that's just wrong. If this is how you've learned to colour, like I have for many, many years, you do you. But I do think it's worth learning these other grips because like for me, when I've learned to colour like this, I've been able to colour for hours. I could not colour for hours like this. Hurts your hand, right? But nobody can criticize you for that. And to be honest, some pencils, when I went back to the pastel loves, I could not color them like this. I needed to hold them like this. I could not get the color out of them. So, but that is the death grip. That is what it is called. It is what it is. But as with anything, we all learn in different ways. And for some people, that's just the easiest way to hold their pencil.
He's asking if you ever mix mediums.
Yeah, I try to. I think when I first started colouring with markers and pencils together, suddenly it was like this whole opened up world of like, I used to love markers, but you couldn't really do detail with them. And I love pencils, but they just take so long. And colouring with them both together, it was like, oh, you get the best of both worlds. Because markers are a lot harder to like blend with and do detail, even when you sort of actually learn the skills and get the more expensive markers. So to be able to use pencils for that stuff, but use the markers underneath, which you'll see I do in a lot of my videos now, that kind of gives you that benefit of both. And I found that I really enjoy doing colouring pages like that because you get that speed and you get that instant reward of just the bold colour. You get rid of all that white underneath, but then you still get to do all that fine detail with pencils, which I love. I love doing the detail with pencils. So I have to say that mixing, and that's only pencils and markers. I know that there's a lot more ways. I've now just started trying to explore some other ones. So like I've bought the Rangers inks. I know a few of you would have seen in a few recent videos. I've only bought a few. I need to go buy some more. I'm wanting to explore pastels. I think pastels are something. So Shane bought me, I know a few of you saw, or let me show you. This was my birthday present, my Caran d'Ache pastel pencils. Now I know usually when you start learning something, you don't get the biggest and the best straight away, but I know that I'm gonna love these. So I was quite happy to just it was a gift from Shane, but authorized. I did tell him which one to get. So you're probably best to have another top camera for this. So we did go and get the nice Caran d'Ache pastel pencils. So I am very, very eager to get these out and have a play and do some mixed mediums with these and with the other pencils. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I think we'll have to do a video on that at some point of my first attempt with the pastel pencils. I probably won't be using them on a colouring page just because I feel like I really want to use them on some actual realistic drawings with the proper pastel paper and, you know, yeah, that'll be fun. But definitely into the mixed mediums.
Gina's asked if you're English or Australian.
Australian. Gina also says, I need a Shane. I noticed Shane's not reading the comments about Shane. So maybe I need to keep an eye on the comments as well. All right, I'm starting to slow down a bit. Sorry, everyone. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It means that I'm paying more attention to what I'm doing. It just means it will also take longer. I don't want to spend this whole video colouring this gradient and not actually get to our shading though.
This is Della's first time visiting your channel and she's just
Oh,
subscribed.
hi Della. Thank you.
Carlo has asked if you ever get anxious when you've drawn a good art piece but scared to colour because you don't want to ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, well, so for me, I don't necessarily have that from drawing to colouring, but I definitely have that when I'm halfway into a piece and don't want to do the next step because it's like, especially if you put a lot of hours into it, you're like, I don't want to mess up what I've done so far. What you can do to get over that is sometimes every now and then I'll like photocopy or take a photo of what I've done so far and then do like a mock-up of the next step. So kind of like how when we started here, I did this little mini one of this start. I've done that a few times halfway in. So I'll like do the front and then I'll photocopy it small or even just take a photo on my phone and then I'll do the background on the mini version just to help build my confidence even at that next step. So that's a good way to get around it. At the end of the day, I've found that when I've gone and just done it, I've very rarely regret just giving it a go. I know a few times I stopped and like at the end of the day, you're so much better off just giving it a go, even if you're not totally happy with the end result, than stopping and leaving it unfinished because you'll always regret that. You'll always regret leaving it unfinished or you'll just always be like, oh, I need to finish that. And it becomes a burden. Whereas when you finish it, even if you're not 100% happy with it, at least you finished it. At least you created something. I think that's always a better end result. And as you build your skills, you know, you can always go back and redo things later. I mean, even drawings and stuff that, you know, you really put your heart in. I know sometimes at the time it feels like this is the only time you'll ever create something. But as you improve, if you ever look at like YouTube artists, a lot of them go back and revisit something, even if it took hours at the time. They'll go back and revisit a project and actually redo a character. So, you know, as you build your skills, you'll always look back, and even your biggest masterpieces, you'll look back and you'll see, oh, wow, look how far I've come. Everything is a learning experience. I think everything is a chance to grow. And like I talked about in my last video, I think even mistakes, even things that aren't perfect are so much better than unfinished projects and so much better than, you know, empty supplies and empty books. And I think for me, that's become my goal, is just get a project finished even if it's not perfect, because I think those are the projects that I'm far more proud of, is the projects that I finished and had a go at, rather than the half-done projects. Because I have a few half-done projects, not as many as I used to, but they're the ones that I always look back and go, oh, I need to finish that. And they just become a burden, and you got nothing to show for all the work that you did do. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that helps, hopefully. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it anyway. Hopefully that
Andrew
helps.
would like to know if the video will be available after the live.
Yeah, we will keep this video up. I'm not really sure, like long term, what we're going to do with these lives. I'd like to think that we keep them as a part of our channel. That way you can come and hang out after the fact. Not that you get to ask questions after the fact, but yeah, I think we will. There's always something to learn, even if you watch it on 10 times speed and just colour along. But yeah.
Gina's asked if you draw your own colouring books.
Yes, I do. It's all my own drawings. And in fact, if you look... Can I be completely honest and say that I'm a bit embarrassed about some of my colouring books? Is that okay? My artwork's improved a lot since some of these first ones. I would like to release a new colouring book soon because, like with everyone, my artwork has improved, and it's improved a lot over the last year. And so I am a little bit embarrassed about some of my earlier stuff. I know that that's that I don't take the stuff off the market because I know that that's just me. But I would like to put out a new book. I was hoping to this year, but life for everyone's been a bit up in the air. But maybe next year I'll create a new colouring book with some new stuff that's a lot higher quality than some of my old stuff. Maybe we'll even look at getting it published properly, not through Amazon, with some really good quality paper. I don't know. Just put the idea out there, something we'll look at. I mean, we did the planner. That I think the quality paper of that is a lot better than our colouring books, and I think the artwork and that's pretty good this year. I don't know how many of you have seen the planner or pre-ordered it, but it is in production now, which is pretty cool. And we've got the sticker book is now in production as well. I think I have, actually no one's seen that yet. I don't have a full, I made a little mini mock-up. This is my little mini mock-up of our sticker book. So this is actually someone else's sticker book behind it. But this is our going to be sticker book that we're getting printed, although our ribbon is going to be yellow. And the inside is going to be our stickers. But the sticker book is now getting printed with the planners for those who have ordered them. You can still order them. They're coming. But that's very exciting for us because as much as we've done the planner before, we've done stickers before, but that's a very new big thing, and it's, in my opinion, much higher quality than anything that we've ever done. Much better quality drawings than anything I've done because, like everyone, when you draw and you practice, you improve, and my stuff's improved, which means you guys get a better quality product to colour as well. So
James has asked how a colorist can go from colour by numbers to colouring without numbers.
Well, I guess just practice, really. I've never really done colour by numbers, so it's not really something I've really thought about. I guess colouring without numbers, it's more just like colouring without numbers, you're just kind of picking your colours yourself. So something like this where we've actually got a colour palette can be a good starting point if you're not feeling brave enough to pick those colours completely by yourself. That can be a good starting point. Otherwise, I guess just take a guess. Learn the colour wheel. We do have a video about the colour wheel as well. I do have a video. So I say we because I look at Shane and he's a part of this channel as well. I do have a video about the colour wheel that can teach you what colours work well together. But really, sometimes it's just picking up some pencils and just having a go. And after a while, you'll start to learn which colours do work, which colours don't work. You just got to start somewhere and you will get better at it. So part of it is just trusting yourself.
Marie's asked if this live will be weekly.
Not weekly. Oh, look, I would love that. But our weekly video, I mean, anyone who has done any kind of videos would understand that the videos that we do weekly, they take a lot of work. It's a full-time job for us to do the current weekly video we do. So I would like to do a live like this, maybe monthly. We're going to aim for, if all goes well. I think weekly would probably just be a bit too much. We have 2 little kids at home as well, so juggling them, especially with all the lockdowns that we've had lately, we're very short on time trying to get our normal video out. So maybe one day.
How do you get new ideas for drawing?
It's different. It changes all the time. Sometimes it'll just be a random idea. Sometimes I'll have a particular goal I'm trying to achieve. Sometimes honestly, it just varies. It varies so much. Sometimes it'll be from things like photos, like looking at this and going, oh, I should draw some flowers. It really varies so much. Sometimes, like, I did have a series. So there was a set of pages that I actually created. I did have a series for Leisure Arts, a publisher, and they specifically said we want a coastal theme. So then I had to think of, okay, what can I do for a coastal theme? So that was a little bit more like I didn't come up with the ideas as much as went hunting for ideas. So it's a little bit different for everything. With a few of my books, you might have noticed, are very specific to certain things. So like I have a Colouring Through Cancer book that was actually inspired because my mum was going through cancer. And she was asking me for borrowing some of my other books because she wanted to colour them while she was going through chemotherapy. So I thought, well, how nice would it be to make one specifically for that? And then I did the same I did a book that was affirmations for new mums, because when I was a new mum, that was actually kind of what snowballed this whole business for me in making colouring books, was actually that I went through postnatal depression and I really struggled as a new mum. So I thought, well, maybe I need some quotes that are encouraging for new mums, and they can colour those in those, 5 minutes when they finally get a break. They can sort of use it as a bit of a creative outlet. So I created a book that was all about encouraging new mums. So there's some things like that I sort of go looking for those ideas, and then there's other things that I just get inspired at the time. A lot of my colouring pages lately have been related around junk food. I'm not sure if that's a sign of the times, my stress eating habits, but I've been drawing more donuts lately. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm going over another layer, but because I'm also sort of wanting to change, to speed up a little bit, I'm going to do a few more layers in the overlapping bits, but in these areas that are like just one color, I'm actually going to go straight to my burnishing, because I don't really, well, maybe not completely burnishing yet, just in case I want to add any effects later, but I'll sort of do a bit of a harder layer. So I'll give, just to really kind of get that bold color at this point. So almost burnishing. Just to give you guys an update on what I'm doing. Someone's asking about activating subtitles in Spanish. I'm not sure if we can do that. I'm not sure how to do that.
There's a few people also asking about trying the Holbein, I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Holbein.
Yeah,
What about them?
The type of Holbein. You have to look at the comment.
Holbein gouache. Gouache? Is it gouache? Did I say that right? I haven't tried that, and I had so many people on my Thomas Kincaid video tell me to try gouache. So I probably need to get some because I had so many people tell me that. It was kind of like, am I the only person in the world that has not thought to use this on colouring pages? So I think I probably need to give it a go. So maybe I should get some of the Holbein stuff. I've not actually used, I am a total amateur when it comes to painting. So I would like to think that I'd be okay at it because it's artistic and creative, and I generally like to do artistic creative things, but I actually have no clue when it comes to painting. So one day we will get into painting. I have bought paintbrushes. As you've probably seen on this channel, I have destroyed many paintbrushes because I didn't know what I was doing and used the wrong brushes for the wrong things, and then didn't wash them and then destroyed them, and yep. And yeah, but watercolor and oil painting and even acrylic painting is definitely not something I know anything about, but it is something that in the next few years of this channel I would love to explore. I actually think I will really enjoy painting. Unfortunately, painting has a lot more setup and a lot more mess than pencils. So with 2 young kids, it's definitely been one of those things that sort of held me back a little bit. Luckily, like at the moment, for example, one's at school and one's at daycare. So this is the kind of time when we could do that kind of thing. So I will have to plan a time and just have a go. Maybe I'll have a go on camera for the first time and you guys can laugh at me and watch me fail. But I do want to get into painting because I actually think I would really love it. I just have no idea where to start and no idea what brushes are the right ones to use. But yeah, you got to start somewhere though. You got to just have a go, and I'm all for that. And I think I've accepted now that my job as a YouTuber is to learn and make mistakes and teach everyone else how to fail. So I'm up for it. I'm up for the challenge.
Someone's asked how I feel when you say need to buy more art supplies.
So that hang on, what?
How does Shane feel when you say you need to buy more art supplies?
Well, maybe in the past Shane kind of cringed at the idea of spending more money, but I think Shane's realised now that when I buy art supplies, it usually means turning them into a video that makes enough money to pay for the art supplies, so it's okay.
How did you get interested in pencils as your medium of choice?
Oh, you know what? That's actually really funny because I made colouring books long before I did colouring. Honesty moment here. I made colouring books because I didn't like coloured pencils. I liked black and white because coloured pencils scared me because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I like black and white. Black and white works for me. And so when I discovered that colouring books were popular and I saw the kind of designs that they were, I was like, I can do that. I'll do that. And so I made black and white. And after selling my colouring books for about a year, maybe even 2 years actually, people kept asking me what coloured pencils I recommend. And I was like, I don't know. I don't own any coloured pencils. I have no idea. But they're asking me because I sell colouring books. So it would make sense that I actually use my colouring books and that I actually know what I'm talking about. So I decided I should probably buy some coloured pencils and actually use the products that I sell. So I decided to buy some coloured pencils. So it was coming up to my birthday and my mum offered to buy me some coloured pencils and Shane offered to buy me some coloured pencils for a birthday present. So Shane bought me the set of Prismacolors that I still use, and my mum bought me that little set of Polychromos open stock that sit in my cup here. And with those two sets, I then owned my first coloured pencils and started colouring and slowly learning techniques. And if you look back on my really old videos on my channel, you will see the very basic techniques that I knew and that I used for a while. And that's all I knew for a very long time. And honestly, it just, after that, it just slowly grew. And it actually was, for me, just a necessity for a while of just using coloured pencils because it was helping me sell my colouring books, which is a little bit sad, I'm sorry. But I don't know, the passion just kind of grew after a little bit. And I think for me, the turning point was actually when I bought my first set of Caran d'Ache pencils. And I tried realism for the first time, which was not that long ago. It was probably only a year ago, maybe even less. And suddenly that really unlocked something for me. That really unlocked this excitement for what pencils could do. And all of a sudden I was like, wow. So when I started this YouTube channel, I started this YouTube channel a very long time ago as a bit of a hosting thing for my blog. But more recently, just over a year ago, it was September 3rd last year. I saw it this morning, so that's why I know that date. I don't normally have that date in my head. September 3rd last year, I decided let's actually launch this channel properly. So this channel has been up for 6 years, but we call this channel as being of September 3rd last year because I said, let's do this. Let's make this a YouTube channel. And so September 3rd last year, we said, we made a welcome video and we said, great, this is what we're doing now. And we started this and my intention was to do a mix of videos and everything. And even at that point, I didn't sort of have a massive love for pencils. I just kind of wanted to do a mix of things and thought, oh yeah, pencils is a part of that. And then from there, that's around that time was when at that point, I still only really owned a couple of sets of pencils. And I think it's time to sharpen a few, by the way. At that point, yeah, it kind of just took off because I love doing the YouTube stuff, and we were really not expecting it to blow up like it has. We weren't expecting to love it as much as we are loving it. And the Caran d'Ache pencils that I really enjoyed for the realism, once I realized how much I could do with the pencils for realism, I just got really excited about colored pencils, and I'm kind of going around in circles now. Sorry, this is me now getting distracted. This is what I do. I talk too much.
Topaz has asked if you approve of digital art.
Yeah, digital art is amazing. I actually would love to do more digital art. I've barely tapped into digital art. I do have Procreate on my iPad, which is one of the best programs out there for digital art for anyone wanting to try some. But I have no idea what I'm doing in Procreate. That's another thing that I want to get to use a lot more, because digital art, for anyone that says it's not art, I just totally disagree. It definitely has some advantages that make it a little bit easier in that you can undo things and you can layer anything on anything. Like you can do light on dark and then light again, and you can do as many layers as you want. For sure. It doesn't make it easier, it just makes it different. And, well, it does make it easier, but it's just a different art. It's a different skill. But I've loved seeing some of the stuff people create, and I think it's amazing. And I would love to have a bit more of a go at that myself one day.
What's your favourite colour?
Teal. Can you tell? My lamp is teal. You can't see that in the shot right now, but yeah, teal. My bridesmaids' dresses were supposed to be teal, but they didn't really come out teal. They came out like a dark, very, very dark teal.
And Lizzie's asking what your favourite sharpener is.
Well, that's part of what the sharpener video is supposed to be about. I'm going through a few. I'm still trying to test and work it out. So at the moment, I'm testing out this M&R sharpener. It's one of the better ones, but there are a few. So if you're looking for recommendations now, before I do my video, a few of the good ones is, this one's pretty good. The Dahl 133 is pretty good. The, what's the other one that little one that I use? The little blue one. What's it called? It's in my drawers here somewhere. They're all in my drawers here somewhere. This one. Here it is. This is one of my favourites as well. The Teagull. That one's a pretty good one. They're the ones that I tend to go back to when I'm just looking for a sharpener quickly and I'm not just sort of in the mood to test one. So they're probably my favourites at this point, but it does depend a lot on what you're wanting. So some of the other sharpeners do really well for like a really sharp point. But then like for me that uses Prismacolor, I want a lot. I don't want a really sharp point on a Prismacolor. So a lot of it depends on what you're looking for. But those three I think are probably going to end up ranking pretty high in the sharpener video when I do eventually get to it. So if you're looking for something, I would probably recommend them as some good options. Oh, I need to get a move on with this. I've been here for what, an hour and a half? I mean, this is a realistic time though, because this is what colouring is. It takes a long time to actually create nice blends when using pencils, as opposed to markers are a lot quicker. But this again, the Markart pencils are comfortable. My hands are not sore. This is a good thing. I do wish I could just like press the fast forward button for you though. Speed up this little bit so that we can move on to the next bit. Sorry. It's all right, we're getting there. Oh, now I forgot I was going to use that light colour, wasn't I? What are you doing? Taking away my shot? Oh, now it's too quiet. I need like some music, otherwise I just have to keep talking. Although, as Shane probably knows, I don't actually have a problem with keeping talking. So live streaming's perfect for me because I like talking a lot.
There's a lot of people who like the Dahl 133 sharpener.
Oh, that's good. I know that's one of, so Pamela, who is on here before, I don't know if she's still here, that's one of the ones that she recommends. And that's one of her favourites. But if you're wanting something portable, I actually really like this one. The little tea girl. Actually, I'm pretty sure I worked out that this is made by Holbein, the same brand. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that until the sharpener video. Don't quote me on that in a live stream. I might be misremembering. No, but I think it is.
What do you think of the Black Widows?
I actually really like the Black Widows. I don't use them that much myself, though. I'll be honest. They are a little bit buttery for me compared to, just because I have so many other options. Because I do have a rather big growing collection of pencils, but I recommend them to a lot of my friends as a good option. They have a really good range. So I know in the Holbein video I did last week, I keep saying last week, that was like 3 weeks ago now, 2 weeks ago. I have no idea. I'm so mixed up as to when we did what anymore. And by the way, Shane, my battery's about to run out on my computer. But if you're reading comments, I probably don't need it anyway. They are really, really nice. They are easy to use, nice and buttery. So if you like the really waxy pencils like your Prismacolors, then they're kind of along the lines of that, but probably a little bit more buttery than those. I did do a bit of a review on them in my cheap Prismacolor alternatives video. The one thing I probably don't like about the Black Widows is they're not as pretty. If you're a collector, that probably matters more than if you're someone looking at them for a practical sense. But if you want to see them, I'll show you what I mean, because I have them here. Just in that the different sets don't necessarily match. So here I have, I'll put them down here so you can see them. Here I have a few different sets. Some of the, and that's because he's the guy that's making them has improved them based on customer feedback. So some of the original sets don't have the colors on the end, and then he's improved them to put the colors on the end, and then the newer sets have really big colors on the end. So he's actually gone and improved them based on customer feedback, and it means the older sets don't have that. So they don't match, but the newer one, so it's kind of like, it's great that he's improving them, but it does mean that if you're someone who really likes things matching, that might bother you. So I don't think it matters. Oh, that's like my favorite. So that's like really nice teal. The Monarch set, which is one of the newer ones, that's the set that has those really nice pastels that I mentioned in that Holbein video. That's where I was going with that. So if you're looking for a really nice pastel range, not as like your main set, but to complement a set that you already have, that's where that is a really good set, because they are really unique colors that are quite different to what most sets have. And the Monarch set is really good with that, with having those unique pastel colors, but they have that really buttery feel. Whereas a lot of those other ones that I tried in that video really didn't have that. In saying that as well, I think my Markart and Nyoni set here are smaller sets. I've got a set of 48 and I've got a set of 36. From what I've heard, if you buy the bigger sets, they actually come with a pretty good range of pastel colors as well. So that, I didn't buy the bigger sets because I keep buying really big sets of cheap pencils and then they just sit on my shelf. And I just didn't really want to spend more money because these actually weren't that cheap for me here compared to America, which is the case for a lot of pencils. Sometimes I get lucky with buying things on AliExpress. But in this case, the Markart weren't, when I bought them, it might have changed. They weren't actually like amazingly cheap for me to get here. So I didn't want to buy the biggest set in this particular instance.
What do you think of the Marco Raffines?
When I first tried the Marco Raffines, I really thought they were like pretty good for the price because they are very cheap. But I have to say, now that I've tried so many other budget pencils, I'm ranking them a little bit lower. I think budget pencils have come so far and have come such a long way that for me, the Marco Raffines don't stand up against a lot of these other ones now. So like the Square Brute Funers and these Markart pencils, I would buy over the Marco Raffines for sure. I think these are all oil-based pencils, so they're not as buttery and they don't blend as smoothly as a lot of your wax-based pencils. But these just lay down a lot easier than the Marco Raffines. So they're good for the price that they are, but I think these are much better for the price that they are. And same with the Square Brute Funers. I'm not that big of a fan of the round Brute Funers personally, but I really like the Square Brute Funers. And if you want to see them, I do have a video of them as well. There are other brands of cheap budget pencils that I haven't bought yet. I'm sort of now realizing I think I really need to do it at like a full cheap pencil comparison, but there are so many brands now and there are more coming out. I feel like it's going to really hurt our budget to go buy the budget pencils, which is kind of ironic in its own way, isn't it? That we would end up spending so much money on budget pencils. It kind of defeats the point of budget pencils. But it's a bit different when you're buying them all to compare them. So yeah, no, the Marco stuff, I've heard that the Marco Renoir are a little bit better. So I'm curious to see what they're like, but then they're also a little bit more expensive. So I haven't tried them. I think I might have bought them though. I do have some pencils that I've bought that are waiting for me to review. So I'll have to have a look and see if they are among that. I also have the Tombow, oh, how do you say it? Erotigen? I'm trying to spell it in my head because I can't even remember how it's spelt to say it. What else do I have in that cupboard over there? The Deli pencils. I've got them in the cupboard ready to review. What else? I'm trying to remember. There's about 2 or 3 in there for me to review.
2 questions.
Yeah.
What is the best solvent for Prismacolors for blending? And someone said, Jaden, that they don't see a lot of people mixing pencil brands in one image. Is there a reason why?
Okay, so the solvent question first. Probably, I don't have a personal preference. I did do 2 videos where I actually tested a whole bunch of solvents. As you can see, like with this, I don't generally use a lot of solvents. I actually like just burnishing. But if you do want to see how different solvents work, I actually did like a full comparison. So there's 2 videos. If you look up blending on my channel, you will find both sets of those solvent videos. One of them was using actual like solvents, pencils, all that kind of stuff. And then the other one was using household items. And both of them I tested Prismacolor, and I tested them on different papers, so you'll be able to see exactly, and it's also a blog, there's a blog post with it, you'll be able to see exactly how they performed, and then you can kind of choose for yourself, because it's not so much which one works best as much as what you are trying to achieve, because different things work differently for different people. What was the second question about?
Why people don't mix pencil brands in one image?
People do. I think maybe I actually think people mix pencil brands a lot. I think probably when you're looking at YouTube tutorials specifically, you might not see it as much because people are probably just trying to teach a specific method. Like if I'm doing this, I'm reviewing these pencils, so I'm not going to do it in this video. I, for my own personal use, would, but then I'm not going to mix brands when I'm doing a blend, probably just because this set is in front of me, so I'm picking the colours. So
I guess why would you mix pencil brands?
Why would you mix pencils? Well, it gives you a bigger variety to mix pencils, and sometimes the biggest reason I would mix pencils is probably the lack of colours in a certain set, but also if you've got, the perfect time when I would mix pencils is if I'm colouring something with Prismacolor. Prismacolor isn't very good at a sharp point for like really fine details. General details fine, yes, but if I'm doing like a hyper-realistic thing and I want a really fine point, I'll actually get out a polychromos pencil because I can sharpen that to a much finer point, and I'll use that for the fine details even though I've used the Prismacolor for the rest of the picture. So you absolutely can mix. I haven't really come across pencils that don't mix well together, but maybe they might not layer well together. I don't know. I haven't really come across that as an issue.
What do you think of Arteezas?
I actually like them. That's the pencil that I gave to Shane as a, here, try these to get started, when he sort of said to me, you know, what would I give him to start colouring? I gave him my Arteezas, which he didn't look after very well, by the way.
That wasn't my fault. That was our child's fault.
He put the Arteezas somewhere that our children got access to. So that tells you how much he looked after the Arteezas. You tell me whether you think that was his fault. Can't blame it on the children when you put them in the children's reach. I found two of the Arteza pencils in a pool of water. Yeah. Kind of like just, no, I want to finish this, but I kind of just want to move on because it's like, I can't help myself. It's like
Can you remind everyone what brand of pencils you're using today?
All right, so we're using the not using the Deli. Don't listen to me. We're using the Markart pencils, and we're using Nyoni pencils. So both are basically the same pencil. They're the same numbers. I have here the pencil numbers that I am using, and they're both available. So I think basically Markart is basically the Americanized version of the Nyoni pencils, as a simple way to say it. But they're both basically the same pencil. There are only really just marketing differences with them. The actual performance is much the same. You can just do this with any pencils though, but they're an oil-based pencil, and I'm going to be doing a detailed review on them like what I do with other pencils, and a blog post this coming Friday, so you'll be able to find that on my channel. So now is a good time to subscribe, turn on your notifications, do all those things that we tell you to do on YouTube. You know. Okay, I think I need to sharpen some of my pencils because
Gail's asking if oil and wax mix.
sorry about the noise for a second. I don't know about if mix is the right word, but you can layer them. I mean, it's not so, maybe it's something I need to like do a video on and experiment with a bit more in detail. I do, but whether it's recommended, I don't know. That's a good question, actually. This pencil sharpener works very much the same as the dial sharpener. But I'll tell you what, I have to say, if anyone's not used one of these before, I don't know if you can see it in the shot. Can you? I'll do it here. I got so confused when I first used one of these. You have to like push in the button. How do I show you? This way. Let's go this way. Little sharpener lesson. You have to like push in the button and pull it out, right? Took me so long to work this out. I had to watch so many videos to work it out. And then you have to push in the button again to put the pencil in. Maybe there's another way to do this, but this is what I figured out. And then you turn the knob. But I haven't actually tried turning the knob until it stops turning. I'm not brave enough, so I just turn it about 6 times. Oh, that did stop turning. Okay, so I apparently have done it until it stops turning just now. And then you push the button again to release it. And it comes out, and it's all good and nice and sharp.
Lizzie is asking if you've ever tried watercolour pencils.
Once, and it was a terrible fail, but I probably didn't try them properly. So it'll be another thing I'll try again at some point. I do own a set of, well, I've tried the Derwent Inktense. They are technically a watercolor pencil, and I was pretty happy with how that came out, actually. That's on my channel. If you look up Inktense.
Melissa has asked if you can go through the differences between the colour catalogues.
Okay, yep. Hang on. I'll save you the noise over my talking.
And Debbie's off to bed.
Bye, Debbie. Okay, so the colour catalogues, basically the main difference is that they are different sets of colour palettes. So, you know what? We can actually show you the collections while I do this. That's probably the easiest way. Because that's the difference, is they have two different collections of colour catalogues in them. So, here you go. I'll give you on screen for a few minutes. Oh, you can't even see that. While I keep colouring. Can you see that? Okay, that is the colour catalogue 1 and all the collections in it. I think I listed these on the website somewhere, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Because people ask this a lot. So the colour catalogue 1 has a lot more of the seasonal stuff, like the different seasons and Christmas and Valentine's Day as individual sort of collections. So to show you an example there, you've got like a whole bunch of what I consider to be like summer sort of categories, not categories, summer palettes. Stuff like that. And then let me go back to some of the other ones. Oops, sorry, there we go. So that's the main thing. And then you've got, so a lot of these Pantone ones are based off certain Pantone trends. So that's just more of a timing thing of when I release them. There'll be different Pantone ones. And then the Colour Catalogue 2, which is a newer version. So it has those ones I don't have pretty pictures for those collections, but that one you've got your Pantone again, but then you've got Ocean Life, you've got Skies, you've got just bright ones. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. Bright ones. You've got Floral. That one's just a spring and summer again. And then you've got Animals. You've got almost, I call them almost monotone because they're kind of like basically one color, if you can see what I mean by that. And then you've got Cityscape. So they're basically just different sets. The volume 2 has a few little, it has like one extra feature which I plan on putting back in volume 1. I just have not got around to it yet, but I will, and everyone who owns volume 1 will get a copy of it, where you can actually see this whole collection browsed like this, which you can't actually do with volume 1 yet. And volume 2, I did also create what I call the UK version, which is just a version where everything is spelt with UK English. So the word colour and the word grey and the word catalogue. That's pretty much it. They're the only words that really change between the two countries, between UK English and American English in the colour catalogues. And then I think the Colour Catalogue 2 also, I made a point of also including the photo credits of everyone who we use their photos. I haven't gone back and done that for the Colour Catalogue 1 yet. I would like to do that because I do think it's nice to just acknowledge all those photographers, even though technically we don't have to because they're all provided with the correct licensing. I just thought it was just a nice little extra thing to do. So we went and did that for Colour Catalogue Volume 2, but it'll take us quite some time to go and track down those again for Volume 1. So I'm going to do that at some point. I hope that helps. That is the difference. Oops, took a photo. There we go. All right, we are almost finished this top gradient. Have we lost everyone yet, or is everyone still with us? Now, if anyone is actually watching this later on the replay, you can, like, not just fast forward, but you can actually watch this and any of our other videos. If you find any of my videos are too fast or too slow, you can actually use the settings in YouTube to speed up or slow down any of my videos. So like this video, if you're like, okay, I get it, you're coloring and you don't want to necessarily skip ahead because you don't want to miss anything, you can watch it faster and listen to me talk faster if you can handle that. And you can just watch the whole thing faster. At the same time, if you're watching my other tutorials, you're like, I wish she would just slow down. You can't understand her Australian accent. Then you can also use the YouTube settings to actually slow down those videos. It's a little settings gear icon actually on every single video. And you can press that and you can watch the whole thing just slightly slower. It doesn't sound unusual if you watch it slightly slower. It will sound crazy if you watch at half speed. So I don't really recommend that, but if you're wanting to watch it on mute at half speed, go for it. Don't make me sound like a sloth, please.
Debbie has asked if the M&R sharpener leaves bite marks on pencils because she's looking for a hand crank sharpener that doesn't leave bite marks. What would you recommend?
No, this one doesn't. As you can see with what I've done, it doesn't at all. This and the Dahl are much the same in terms of what they do. The Dahl 133. They're both pretty good for not leaving bite marks. Don't get the other Dahl, 100 and something else. That one does leave bite marks, but both of these haven't. So, yeah.
It's 2 a.m. where Angel is and is still here.
Oh, wow, that is commitment. You have my permission to go to bed, though. Oh, but we should talk about the giveaway that I was hinting at earlier for you guys. Hey, so some of you might already know, and if you don't, well, I'll tell you about it now. So I do have the giveaway that we've been talking about for a while for my 100K when we get to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I'm still a little while away, but it has been coming quite quickly because I announced this when I only had 15,000 subscribers. Some people thought that was a little bit overly ambitious, but I'm all for big goals. And I think given the growth of our channel so far, I think there's like no reason we can't get to 100,000 by the end of the year. I'm determined, and Shane and I have been putting in so much work in order to make sure that we get there. So this giveaway really is not so much about trying to get you guys to do the work for us or anything like that, like some people have accused us of. What it really is about is that I just love excuses to give things away. And I thought, well, that would be really cool if we get to 100,000 and we make it like a joint goal so that you guys are kind of on this journey from the start, that you see the ambitious goal that we have, but also get behind it, and that we kind of get to celebrate it together. But, sorry, just blowing. I have this for that. This is my makeup brush. Push this away. There we go. But I know there have been a few people a bit disappointed because part of that is that I did say that the grand prize of the Polychromos pencils would be available to the top 100. And I know a few people have actually emailed me and just made comments that they don't feel like that they're going to be eligible because they don't have enough friends to get in the top 100. And I totally hear that. There are a lot of other prizes that are going to be available if we hit that goal earlier, that are available to everyone. But I was talking to Shane a few days ago and we are coming up to the halfway point. And I said, why don't we do a halfway prize? Why don't we do a halfway to 100K? Because it rhymes, because that's fun. So I decided we're not going to do some big announcement of, well, we kind of are doing an announcement because that's what this is, but we're not going to go all out and do like a second giveaway because that's not really the point of this. I just wanted to find a way to give away something and to say thank you to everyone for all that, for all the effort so far that everyone has had in sharing everything, and to thank the people who have been a part of our journey so far. So what we're going to do is for everyone who has registered, and you've still got time to register, so don't feel like you've missed out if you haven't yet. For everyone who has registered for the 100K challenge, you are going to be eligible for our halfway to 100K draw. And what we are going to do is when I get to 50K, which at the rate we are going, I think is going to be within the next week, probably, we are going to give away a halfway prize. So we're going to give away half of the grand prize. So the grand prize, we can't do it in the wooden box because they don't really offer that, but the grand prize is 120 polychromos. So I'm going to give away 60 polychromos to one winner that we're going to select from all of the people who have put their name down for the 100K prize. And when we hit 50,000 subscribers, we are going to draw one person and we are going to give them the 60 polychromos when we hit 50K. Which I'm hoping will be this week because we are currently at about 43. Is that right? We're close. We're so close. So I reckon with a little bit of help from you guys, maybe sharing a video or two this week and just, watching some extra stuff, telling YouTube that you love our stuff by just liking and sharing and whatever, that we can get there this week. And I would love to announce in this week's video, possibly, who that winner is, because it's just a really nice way. And by not sort of making an extra big fuss, I'm hoping we won't attract other people. I just really want to reward those of you who are already a part of this and reward those of you who are my loyal subscribers. So jump on that. If you're not sure how to do that, what we will do, post the link to register. Yes, we need someone to do that. Actually, let me just do that now. All right, so Shane just has to head off quickly to go pick up our sick child. Ooh. So to register, head to sarahrenaeclark.com/win. I've just popped the link in the comments and now I'm going to try and do the chat with this because Shane's no longer here to back me up. So I'm on my own. So please be patient with me, everyone. Don't start trolling me. And if you head to sarahrenaeclark.com/win, the first part of that, there's like 2 giveaways mentioned, but go to the first one. The second one's actually old. Head to the first giveaway there, pop your email in. You don't actually have to be a subscriber or any of that. You just have to put your email address and name into that. You can do the bonus points if you want. That's all actually for the grand prize that we'll give away when we get to 100,000 subscribers. I would love for you to do all that stuff because it helps me so much. But that's all just bonus and I appreciate it. But for the halfway to 100K giveaway, all you have to do is pop in your email address and you will be eligible. So you guys can do that. I will do that. Yes, Valerie, I love your suggestion of setting up mods. I don't really know how to do that either right now. I should probably, next stream, we will have all of this organized so well. Okay. So I didn't know that. I didn't know that you guys couldn't post links in the comments for me. So I will keep that in mind for next stream. We will, okay. Need to have HT2. Let's try that. Okay. So I'll post the link again. Markart.com/win. Let's see if that one works. Did that work that time? If not, you can head to my website, sarahrenaeclark.com/win. Or, like Roberta says, click the link in the pinned post and then click win in the navigation bar. That also works. Cool. All right, so we are now ready to head into our shadows because I've pretty much finished the gradient on the top here. So I'm going to start on that. For those that saying the link isn't working, that's okay. Just head to my website, sarahrenaeclark.com, and then on the top navigation. So my website is also linked to in the video description. And then the top navigation in my website, it has a win button. Click there, that will get you to that. And as much as it all says 100K, there's no announcement anywhere there about the halfway prize. The halfway prize is something that I'm doing as an extra. So don't worry that it's not mentioned anywhere. It is happening, okay? All right. I think. All right, cool. Let's go. Sorry, guys. We can do this. I'm on my own. I hope I don't need to go to the toilet. Okay, so we're going to now work on some shading for our 3D section. So what I really want to do here is we might start with a light color of each color that we've got sort of the main section, but then I want to build up some shadows behind it. So let me think of how we're going to do this. We might start just with our yellow maybe. And what we want to do is find sort of a shadow color. The yellow is actually pretty easy because we've got sort of our orange here. In fact, we can skip the yellow and just go straight to that color because it's not, oh no, we will use both. They're not that different, and I reckon we can use that brown as our sort of darker color because that already is sort of a shadow color. So I hope I'm making sense. Let me just show you what I mean. So if we use our light yellow, we've got our orange as our sort of on top of it as a bit of a, like now that's creating a slight shadow. And if we use our darker brown on top of it and we can just vary our pressure, that can create a bit of depth again. But we just want to be really careful with our pressure because if we go too dark, it gets really intense. Yeah? So we've got to kind of judge it. I wonder if there's another sort of halfway one. Doesn't really look like it. Where's my swatches? Maybe we can grab... Actually, that number 22 might be a better one. No, you know what? I'm going to stick with what we've got because I don't want you guys to have to go hunting for more pencils just yet. All right, so we're just going to try and go light pressure and see how we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my main color just very lightly. And what we'll do, sorry, I'm kind of, you're going to really hear me ramble during this section just because I'm kind of making it up as I'm going along. This is the part where I'm winging it. So we already have a darker orange down the bottom. And so we can go straight to our darker orange there. And we have our lighter yellow at, I said darker orange, but it's actually dark yellow. And our lighter yellow at the top. And what I want to do is bring in our shadow. In fact, I might even do the shadows first so that I can see what I'm doing. This is all the stuff you don't see on camera because my brain's ticking over as to how I'm going to do this. Shadows first might be easier actually, because then I can see what I've got to work with and blend it backwards. Okay, we're going to do that. So there's a few different shadows I can do here. I'm going to... Yeah, this is the live uncut Sarah. This is the me not really knowing what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go darker, more towards the back. So we're going to pretend our light is coming from the front and it's going to get darker towards the back. And we're also going to do darker in any little sort of crevices, kind of like, I guess, our occlusion shadow. So these little corner bits in here are going to be quite dark. So let's start. We're just going to do very light though, because we can always build up, but we can't kind of reverse it. So let's use our dark brown, but we'll just go light in there. Okay. And we'll also go dark in these bits here, because that's going to be pretty dark under there. The other thing I need to think about is if the light is coming straight on or if we're going to do it from a certain angle. Doing it from a certain angle would make sense because then it's going to be easier to create like a cast shadow rather than trying to do everything flat. But I haven't really thought that through enough. All right. I'm just going to wing it. Let's just see what happens, hey? I'm just going to start. So this is where I haven't really worked out what I'm doing yet. So I'm just going to do the obvious spots that feel obvious to me. And then we're just going to see what it looks like as we go. So I'm going to pick these parts here that are sort of darker and maybe from the back forwards. Whenever I'm unsure, I just pick the parts that feel the most certain, and then I kind of fill in the gaps as I go. So I'm really going really light here, but I think this will work. We hope. Okay. Okay, so what I think I like this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is go dark at the back and then shade it forward. And I think doing the shadow first is definitely easier because then I can really see what I'm doing and it'll be a lot easier to blend those lighter colors in once I can sort of, this is kind of like almost the skeleton of the shadow to kind of block out where everything's gonna go. So I think we're gonna stick with this method. So again, I'm just using a really light touch. I hope you can see clearly what I'm doing here. If you have any questions, ask them and I will try to answer them as I go. And so what I'm actually going to do is create quite a heavy strip down the back and then I can kind of blend that out, if that makes sense. So the very back edge is quite a harsh brown line, I've decided. See, deciding as I go. So some people assume when I do things, I don't know exactly what I'm doing as I go, but a lot of it I just kind of make up as I go. And I think you find this is the same for not all artists, but a lot of artists. Don't always have the whole picture in mind when I start. I guess that's the key point. Sometimes I do, but sometimes it really is just a case of figuring it out as I go. My mic is muted. Can anybody hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Someone said my mic is muted. Oh, you freaked me out because I don't know how to unmute it because Shane left. We're all good. No need to panic. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure yet how I feel about this, but we're just going to run with it. Definitely need some music or something. It's so quiet. You guys have your own music, yeah? Put your own music on. All right, we need some more questions. Can you guys ask me some questions or something to keep the conversation going? It's getting quiet here. Can you try using petroleum jelly to blend pencils? I actually did. I didn't have much luck with it, but I did a video recently where I used a whole bunch of household items to blend pencils, and that was one of them. So that's actually on my channel. If you look up blending blending pencils with household products. That is something that I did a whole video on. That was the one that has the famous blender at the start, but got a few people upset. But, yep, that was a bit of fun. I think I must have given my cold to my son because he's just been sent home from school. Do I like listening to music when I create? Yeah, I do actually. I either listen to music or I end up watching YouTube videos, funny enough, of other artists. I like watching other artists create when I create. I think it's fun. Good chance to sort of feel like I get to know other people a bit as well. Doesn't feel as lonely when you're creating, when you're watching other people create. So it's, yeah, it's nice. Yes, Angel, that was the pencils in the blender video that I was talking about. The blending with household items. That was the pencils in the blender video. That was just a little intro at the start. It was purely for fun. I thought it would be funny to have blending pencils as pencils in a blender. But there was only like 8 pencils in there, and those pencils cost about $1 for a pack of 12. They were actually the pencils that I bought for our sharpener video, which is funny because now I've bought so many budget pencils that I've been using. Like I've been using the sharpeners as I've been testing out all these pencils that I probably didn't need to buy the cheap pencils, but they were literally no good. Like there's no color in the pencils, there's no pigment in them. So they weren't really good for anything other than being in the blender. So, and we're planning on doing something with them. I'm thinking I need to learn resin. I reckon it'd be really fun to put the broken pencil pieces from that blender in some resin or something. But resin's another thing I've never had a go at. But I reckon pencil shavings and stuff would actually be really cool in some kind of resin thing. So I'm thinking that might have to be another video at some point. Me doing resin for the first time. That could go really wrong, or it could be really cool. Who knows? I don't know. I've seen resin go really wrong, so who knows what it would turn out like, but I'm up for it. Oh, thank you for pre-ordering the 2022 planner. I've been, honestly, guys, really just blown away by everyone who's pre-ordered. We were not expecting so many orders. I actually don't have words for how much I'm really excited and really just shocked at how many orders we've had. It's been really exciting. I actually was almost not going to do one this year, if I'm being honest, because last year was a bit disappointing. Not in the orders, just in the whole process. And because it takes a lot of effort to put the planner together. Like I have to draw every page. And it didn't feel worthwhile for all the effort, because we don't, in the past, we haven't really made any money off it because of the production costs and everything. It was always one of those things that we thought eventually we'd make money off it if we sold enough. This year might be that first year for us where it actually makes a profit, and that in itself is exciting, that it might actually finally be at that turning point for us where it actually becomes worth the effort. But also this year, I don't know if you've seen it. Hang on. If you've seen the video where I released it, this is the first year that we have it in this amazing box, and like just the quality of this is so much better than anything we ever could have imagined or anything that we ever had from a previous year. It's just like the hardcover and everything. Like, I just can't get over this. It just, I'm really excited. It's a bit, yeah. This is my sample. I haven't even seen, we haven't actually got the real ones yet because they're being printed. So this sample was before I finished designing it all. So I have a wonderful selection of blank pages in my sample, but I did have some of them finished so that I could test it out and color some in, like this one. So good news, if you have Tombow markers, they don't bleed through. Look at that. See, absolutely no bleed through with oh, you can't see that. There you go. Look, no bleed through at all with Tombow markers, which is awesome. And I did do some tests with, I think, the Ohuhu markers and there was a page in here somewhere I tested them all. There are a few different markers that I tried and none of them bled through. That was a cool little trick I did with just like a gold gel pen. I thought you could try just outlining rather than colouring in, something different. That didn't bleed through either. So you can't use alcohol markers, but that's pretty normal. You can't use them in pretty much anything because they'll bleed through. But pretty much everything else did really well. Oh, that was a gold paint pen. So the paint pen didn't bleed through. Sorry about my sniffing, guys. I know I said it at the start, but I'm still sniffing a little bit from this cold I had. I'm sorry. So that's the planner. Very excited. You can still order them. The pre-order bonuses are gone now, but there's still a pre-order sale, so that is still available. Oh, the Prismacolor pencils. So someone's asking about Prismacolor pencils and breakage. Now, yes, I do have issues with them breaking fairly often. I have found that this little sharpener so both of the, well, these sharpeners and also the other one I mentioned earlier, the dial. Did I just like unload all of the sharpenings out of that? Whoops. They all help a lot. So a good sharpener makes a difference when it comes to reducing the breakage of your Prismacolors. Definitely makes a difference having a good quality sharpener. So that's something to keep in mind. Look, I found that, yes, I have maybe in my set of 120, 2 or 3 pencils that are just, that like they're kind of just lost. Those pencils are just short. But out of such a big set, that's not really that many. And you can just buy those for your open stock. I still think the pencils themselves, for me, are kind of worth it despite that breakage. But that is a personal choice. I know for some people it's a deal breaker. So yes, the breakage is definitely an issue. I actually went and had a look to see if I could get my hands on some of the antique ones, but they're quite expensive. People have worked out that people want them. So they are quite expensive and they're hard to get your hands on. So good luck to you if you can. I don't know if they'd be worth the prices people are selling them for. At the end of the day, are still a set of pencils. They're not really light fast or anything like that. So it's up to you, but I still like them despite all that. If a developer could make paper that alcohol markers didn't show up on the back, they would make millions. I mean, they still show up on the back, but you do have bleed-proof paper where they won't at least go through the paper to the next side. And you do have, so there are, yeah, Bristol board is thick enough that, like your expensive illustration paper, some of those that are really thick, they won't go through. But your fine papers, yeah, you're not gonna find a book or a colouring book that they're not gonna go through with your alcohol markers. I don't know if when I'm reading comments, if I'm giving enough context then on camera answering the comment for the people that haven't read the comment that I'm answering. I'm sorry. We're talking about alcohol markers bleeding through paper. All right. So I'm still using the brown on the orange because it's still kind of a darker version of that color. Although I am wondering if I should be going to a darker brown. Let's just have a look actually at my swatches here, because I've got my 25 here, but then my next sort of option is getting quite dark. My 22 is not really any different. 24 is probably getting too dark and it's not really orange anymore. So I think we'll stick with this for now. We can always darken it later. But I might actually stop here so we can sort of work on this upper area again, just to sort of work on the next step. I'm just trying to work out if there are any more shadows that I want to add, or if I'm happy with the 3D look that that's created with the lighting position. I'm not really sure that I'm happy with the lighting position. Like it's just sort of plain at the moment, kind of front on. It's like maybe I'd like to create a bit of a side light rather than just being straight front on, but maybe I'm just being picky. To do that, all I would probably, so if I were to create a side light, all I would really need to do is pick one side and just darken that side a little bit more. So for example, if I was, maybe we can try it even just some of these areas underneath. So let's pretend our light was a little bit more directional above. The areas underneath each letter, we just darken those a little bit more than the areas above. Does that make sense? So let's just try that, just to give it a little bit more, I guess, realistic depth. Like we're not going for realism here, but just to give it a bit more interest. So just those areas underneath, and we'll just keep trying to blend it out naturally. See how that's, I've just created it a bit darker underneath those letters. Just makes it a little bit more 3D looking, I guess. We'll do the same just under here. So you just got to think about if the light was up here, which areas wouldn't get light. Topaz, you're asking about digital art. I mentioned this earlier that I actually love digital art. I really do think that I would love to have a much better go at digital art. So I talked about this earlier, so I'm not going to go massively into it, but I do think that digital art is absolutely real art, and I would love to learn more about how to use something like Procreate. I've barely dabbled in it. I think in the future I'm going to actually do a video trying some of the, because there's also digital art, but then there's also digital coloring. It's like a whole nother, it's like digital art, but with coloring books. So I think I'll have to explore a little bit of that. There are a whole bunch of apps that make that really easy. Some of them kind of take the art out of it a bit more than I personally would like. So I would like to kind of test some of them, see what the different options are, see if they are just like a click and fill kind of coloring, which I'm not personally interested in, but see which ones are like that and see which ones actually allow you to do a bit more of the shading, which kind of interests me a bit more. So I'm actually really curious to even do a comparison of some of them and see what options are out there, because I mean, even the click and fill, yes, it's a lot simpler, but even that takes creativity, because you can make something look amazing with just a different choice of colors. So I absolutely believe that nobody should be critical of anyone in saying that something isn't art. If you watch my latest video, you'll see exactly how I feel about people that are critical of other people with things not being art. So I definitely recommend that one. A lot of people have had some really good feedback on that video because they found it really encouraging. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. What else are we saying in here? Sorry, I've missed a few comments.
A lot of people are recommending you get yourself a little desk vacuum.
Desk vacuum. I saw one of them in the shop and Shane told me that it was a novelty and a waste of money.
My bad.
Let's blame Shane. Oh, that's funny. I saw it in Officeworks all place. Did someone say that? I saw someone say they sell them in Officeworks. I just saw that. Is that what you were referring to? Whoever that was? The desk vacuum?
Have you ever tried the Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils?
No, they're on my list. They're on my list. They were almost my birthday present, and except that I got the pastel pencils instead. But I really want to try the Pablo pencils because I think I will really love them. But I don't want to just buy a small set. So I'm waiting until I can justify buying the big set because I'm confident that I will like them. I'm confident that they will go into my regular set of pencils that I use. And so therefore I want to save up and make sure that I buy the full set of Pablos. So I'm recommending them without having tried them. Just because I like Caran d'Ache, I love the luminance and I like my polychromos that I do have, and I know everyone compares them as being the polychromos of the Caran d'Ache range. So have I got everything? Have I got all my little shadow spots? What do we think? Is there anything I've missed that sort of needs a shadow? Any areas maybe? Oh, Marie. Wow. Thank you so much for your donation, Marie. Thank you. She says, congratulations on your live. Wow. Thank you, Marie. That's so generous of you. Marie just donated us $20, Shane.
Oh, wow.
What drawing tablet do you have? A Huon or Wacom or what? I just sold my Wacom. No, I haven't sold it. It's sitting in our garage. Isn't that embarrassing? Our Wacom is sitting in our garage because I'm not using it anymore. I'm using the iPad so much more now. And because the iPad now has Adobe Illustrator on it.
And the Apple Pencil.
And the Apple Pencil, sorry. And I mean, my Wacom is 10 years old. So that, like, if I had a new one, maybe I would change my mind on that. But because my Wacom was 10 years old and my, I was just going to the iPad more and more. And now you can actually use that as a second screen with a Mac. So even when I'm using the computer now, I end up just plugging that in, using the Apple Pencil and using that as a second screen. And now that has Adobe Illustrator on the iPad. And I love that. I actually love Illustrator on the iPad almost more than Illustrator on the computer for certain things, for drawing. It's really intuitive. So I'm actually using that a lot more. So just quickly, I am going to now move back into my lighter colors. So I've got, what's this for? No, I actually wanted a 4 under 3. Where's my 3? Is that my 3? Yes. So now I'm going to move back into the lighter colors to kind of blend back towards the front and just fill out the rest of this yellow. And so then we can do the same with these other colors and we'll see what it looks like. And hopefully it looks okay. Let's go. And we'll keep answering questions while we do this. And Shane's back here so he can help with the comments again so I don't miss everything because that was much easier when you were here. Because Shane's awesome.
Well, I'm kind of here.
Kind of here, kind of looking after our 6-year-old who's
been sent home from school.
Oh, I've been sent home from school with the cold that I thought I was over and now he's picked up. Oh, fun. Might use my 2 as well just to make sure we keep this really yellow in here a bit.
Melissa's asking if you have a swatch template to download.
I'm working on one very, very soon. I've been promising it for months. There's a few things that just keep getting bumped down my list every time we go into lockdown. We've had, in the past 7 weeks, I think we've had about 6 days without kids. It's been crazy. There's a lot of projects that have just ended up waiting because we've really wanted to not miss a video as like our priority one. And the planner is something that we don't want people to not have their planner by December. So everything else has had to just go on the back burner for a little bit. So I'm creating a set of swatches and we'll make it really cheap. So it'll be like $5 or $10 or something that people can just download a bunch of them, like a whole set of different kinds of swatches for all different projects and stuff. and I'm working on it. And I'll try and get it up by the end of the year. That's my goal. Hopefully sooner, like in the next month or so. But I do still have to finish the rest of the planner first, because I've got the digital and the printable planner that we're still going to get out. We'll get there.
Lisa has asked, why do your hands hurt with just certain brands, i.e. Black Widow pencils, ErgoSoft make my hands hurt, but other brands don't?
Well, I don't know why Black Widow specifically. That's not something I've said. I don't know if you're referring to me saying that, but that would be because probably there's a few things it might be. It might be that the shape of the pencils is forcing you to hold them a certain way. It's usually a grip that'll make them. Your grip will be what's actually hurting, not the pencils themselves. What I've found is that if I'm using a harder pressure, they'll make my hand hurt. And so if there's a pencil that's forcing you to use a harder grip, like what I'm holding right now, that's going to hurt your hand. If you can hold your pencil more like this, that's not going to hurt your hand as much. So if a pencil has, if it puts down more pigment, like these ones I'm using now, where a light touch puts down a lot of colour, then you can use a lighter touch and it's not going to hurt your hand as much. Whereas if you're having to put down pressure in order to get the colour out of the pencils, then you're going to find that they are going to hurt your hand more. That's the reason why some brands are going to hurt your hand more than others. So, yeah. Hopefully that helps. I think that's kind of looking like what I was hoping. It's like, not exactly, but it's too.
Topaz is new to your channel and actually just found it today and is subbed and planning on binging on your videos.
Oh, how fun. I find the idea of binging on me horrifying, but...
But Topaz was also wondering what you would like Topaz to call you.
Sarah. Is that Sarah? That's easy, right? So I think you guys can probably see what I'm doing here at this point. It's I might, once we're done here, bring in, I don't know. I'm wondering whether my shadow needs a bit of grey to it. It's become very sort of red, or even a bit of, I don't know if I need a bit of even like a blue or something in this shadow, or a purple or something to kind of, it's just become very red, the shadow, and that's probably not very realistic. But then I kind of like the look of it. So I might just keep going with what we're doing. Oh, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Thanks for being you. Thank you for the donation. Josh has just donated $20, and Josh is always on our videos commenting and sending me emails. So thank you so much, Josh. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to, what I'm going to do with the colours, because at the moment it's looking very yellow. But at the same time, once I add some colour in the background, it might totally change. So I think I'm just going to keep going with what I'm doing. At the end, if I decide that it needs more blue, I might come back and just try to add a bit more blue in these bits here. So I'm going to try not to, I have kind of been burnishing actually. Maybe I'll back off on the burnishing a bit so that I can adjust it a bit more if needed. And we'll just kind of see how we go. But I think you can kind of see what I've tried to achieve here with these colours. And I'm just sort of switching between colours here just to try and blend from the darkest colour now to a light colour similar to what the front is without totally going light. So I've kind of got a lighter yellow here and kind of just blending between them. I hope that makes sense. Is this making sense for you guys? Are you guys getting something out of this? I mean, I don't know if you're getting more out of the chat or the drawing, but I hope you're having fun either way. That's the main goal here, right?
Angie has also made a donation and has said that you've got to try the Art Ship Design 24 glitter paint pens and she thinks you'll like them.
Ah, thank you, Angie. Well, I will take that recommendation and we will find out what they are. We will go have a look.
Alison is just joining from Illinois, USA and says that you're amazing and loves your videos.
Well, thank you.
And Lisa's also mentioned that you have a Facebook group that you can post pictures in.
Yes, I was going to mention that towards the end, but it's a good idea, actually. We should be mentioning this stuff as we go, because I know people are coming and going. So yeah, if you guys, because I don't do live streaming all the time, but sorry about the toilet. Like I said earlier, our 6-year-old is now home, so you're going to hear some random interruptions and some singing from the toilet. Not really what you came to listen to, but I'm sorry.
I did try and close the door, but he wouldn't let me.
Welcome to live streaming with Sarah. This is Life with Kids. So, what was I saying? Yeah, so the group is somewhere. I am in there as much as I can be. It's starting to get really big, and we're starting to get a lot of posts every day. So I don't see every post anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm trying. I am on there every single day having a look at the stuff people post. So if you ever want like feedback on your own coloring, we have an amazing community in there, and you will get support and encouragement and suggestions. And so I encourage you to check that out. If you want to find the link, you can either head on Facebook and search my name. You will find it. It's called Colouring with Sarah Renae Clark. Or you can also head in the description of almost any of my videos. Not this one, I don't think we have it in the link of this one. But almost any of my videos, I do have it as a link in the description as well to join that Facebook group. So you can find it there. But easiest way is probably just if you're already on Facebook, look up Sarah Renae Clark and you will find my page and you will find that Facebook group. So yeah.
So a few people have told us not to apologise for the kids' sound, but
I will never stop apologising for the kids' sounds.
But also wanting to know about our kids.
Oh, you want to know about our kids? That's sweet. So we have 2 little boys. Zachariah is 6 and Oliver is 2.5. Well, 6.5 and 2.5. They're both gorgeous boys. Zach has discovered a love for Star Wars despite having never seen a Star Wars movie. So the retelling that Zach recently gave us of Star Wars was that Luke Skywalker has a son named Dark Vader, and Dark Vader really wanted ice cream, but he wasn't allowed ice cream because he was not good enough. But then Luke Skywalker made an ice cream shop where everyone was allowed ice cream. So it was all good. And Dark Vader was allowed to have ice cream too because he turned good. So we play Star Wars Lego on Nintendo Wii, so that's what's feeding the Star Wars interest. And oh, you should show them the R2-D2 drawing that's up on our picture there, Shane. He's also into art and he's been drawing R2-D2 for us. This is Zach's drawing of R2-D2. There we go. Beautiful drawing. So Ren has asked, what do I do if I colour in the wrong area? Well, I either colour over it with a really dark colour or I just change my plan and I just work it in. Yeah, I like dark backgrounds, so often if it's somewhere that has, like if it's near a background, I'll just colour over it with black or something, but usually it just involves changing your plans. It's never occurred to me to erase coloured pencil, because a lot of coloured pencils you actually can erase, but I've never even thought to try that, which is really silly of me because that would probably work in a lot of cases. It depends on the colour, and it depends how hard you've pressed as well, I guess, as to what you can do with it. So there's a lot of factors, I guess. As with most things, you just got to think outside the box sometimes, work it in. All right, what else is happening here? Shane, a few people are giving you moderating tips. You know what I didn't bring? Colouring snacks. Tell me, everyone in the comments, what do you eat while you colour? And what do you eat? Because I am short of snacks today. How long have we been married? Now, this is really embarrassing because someone asked me the other day and I said like 6 years, and then she pointed out that I have a 6-year-old, and I was like, yeah, no, okay, so we've been married like 9 years. That's really embarrassing. You know, we've been almost married 10 years now, Shane.
Yeah.
Almost 10 years. Actually, does that mean we're coming up to our 10th anniversary this 10 that didn't make sense. Our 10-year anniversary this year. Is that this year? Or is it our 9-year anniversary this year?
9.
You know that for sure?
No.
We are great with our anniversary dates, guys. I think it's 9 years anniversary this year. Oh, that's funny. The important thing is that we have not missed an anniversary. That's the important thing. And that by the anniversary, we know how many years it is. If it makes anyone feel better about me not knowing how many years I've been married, I also don't know how old I am. I ask our 6-year-old. He knows how old we all are. I'm really bad with numbers, apparently. Right, what else we got? Roberta, I like your answer. The mistake-proof answer to how long have you been married is long enough. But see, I would say not long enough. That is the mistake-proof and divorce-proof answer. Not long enough. Isn't that right, Shane? Not long enough?
Absolutely.
Good answer. Someone is begging you to add them as a moderator so that they can help you get rid of the spam comments. Unless they want to be a moderator so they can add the spam comments. Full control. I appreciate the offers, guys, but what we're going to do is next time we do a live stream, I will get some extra moderators. I totally appreciate the offers, but we probably need to get people that we know as moderators. I'm sure you can appreciate that. So thank you for everyone who's rushing in with offers now, but that's just something we will sort out for the next live stream. It's fine. We will work through it today. I hope no one's been spreading massive hate in this. Someone apparently needs to be removed. So, oh, Shane apparently needs to go have a look through some comments though. So, but yeah, Shane can have a look. you guys that are volunteering, you can have a chat with me later. We might definitely get you guys to have help out maybe on the next video. So maybe jump over on Facebook where you can actually jump into a chat with me, because I don't think we can do that on YouTube. And we can chat and maybe you can actually help us with moderating some future stuff. That would be awesome. So we're always up for the help. But definitely not really until to higher mid live. So right now, Mary, it's 12 o'clock here. Oh, so we've been going for a little while. Sorry, guys. How long have we been going?
2 hours, 40 minutes.
2 hours, 40 minutes. Oh, you guys are so patient with me. How are you all hanging in there? Are you bored yet? All right, what I might do... Oh, I don't want to waste like 6 hours of your day. Okay. The brown has definitely turned out quite orange once I've laid over it, hasn't it? That wasn't really intentional, but it was a nice surprise. Kind of happy with how that's turned out. Okay, so what we might need to do is work out what the next plan is here, because I feel like this is going to take a really long time if I keep going on all of this. So I'm wondering if I need to just kind of pause and just do like the top half. Gee, that looks really bright on the camera too. This yellow is actually a bit more gold than the yellow that you guys are seeing. I think the side camera, if Shane switches to that in a second, is a little bit more realistic of the colour. The top camera, at least what I can see, maybe it's just the screen I'm looking at with my preview, but the colours are not totally true to what's real. But anyway, what we might do, because I really don't want to take up your whole day, let's have a look. What can we do to speed this up a little bit? I'm just trying to think of what my next step's going to be with this picture to try and give you guys the look at what I'm doing. You get the idea of how I've approached this so that I can finish this and you will see the final picture on Friday. I guess I've shown you the technique so far. If you have any questions about this technique, maybe ask them now so that we can tie this up in the next, say, 20 minutes, because I really don't want to keep you here for how long it's going to take me to finish this page. What I will do is maybe bring in some other colours and just do some of the bits up the top just to give you a bit of a look at what I was planning. And I'll do the bottom half just on my own so that you're not here for another few hours. We'll answer some more questions and we will look at tying up this stream in the next 20 minutes because you guys have been wonderful and so patient. But I do respect your time and I don't want to waste it. And I think 2.5 hours is a very long time to be, well, actually it's almost 3 hours now, is a very long time to be on a stream with me. So if you have any questions, let's get through the last questions now. And then I will just, while we're doing that, so Shane, I'll need you to rattle through these last few questions. So anything else you want to ask, get it on now. We will go through them all as quickly as we can. And while we do that, I'm going to just add some extra color up the top. So what I'm going to do is take some of these colors from our front. I'm going to use them on these other little bits around. There's the toilet flush again from Zach. And then I'll just show you quickly what I'm going to do in the background. And then I will finish this in time for Friday's video. So you will see the end results on Friday as a part of that video. Shane, can you run us through what other questions we have as we sort of try to finish this up a little bit?
Do you turn your paper around while colouring or leave it in the one position?
When I'm on video, I kind of try to keep it in the one position so that we can do a speed up. In fact, sometimes I blue tack it to the table. I didn't today. But practically, like today, a few times I've moved it around if I've got edges. So sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Someone has suggested that later you could upload all the content in fast speed.
Well, that's what Friday's video will include. Friday's video, it's a full review of the Markart and Nyoni pencils that I'm using today, but it will have as a part of that a fast sped up version of the page that I've done today, including the whole page. So that will be a part of that review video. So this is something I don't normally do, being the long version of it, but you will get the fast version of it as part of that video. Now, don't forget too, guys, the halfway to 100K challenge. So remember to get your names down if you missed that earlier. We are giving away half the prize. So when I get halfway to 100,000, so when I get to 50,000 subscribers, we are going to give away 60 Polychromos pencils, which is half of the 100,000 grand prize that I'm going to do. So you can enter that just by heading to the 100K giveaway, which you can find at my website, sarahrenaeclark.com, and then /win. And that halfway prize, you just have to enter the main giveaway and you will be eligible for the halfway prize. So when I get to 50,000, I'm going to draw a winner for that and I'll announce it in whichever video is next. And it's just a little bonus extra as my thank you for helping me get to halfway. We are almost there. I actually think it'll probably be in this next video because we are very, very close to 50,000. I'm actually really excited.
I think Josh is in lockdown, so I think we need to give a shout out to everyone who's in lockdown at the moment.
Oh, we feel you guys in lockdown. We've been in and out of lockdown a lot lately. We're sort of half in lockdown at the moment because our state is kind of in lockdown, but we're just out of lockdown. So the next town across is in lockdown. So we can't have visitors over, which means no babysitters, which means we can't leave. But we still have like childcare and stuff at the moment. So it's not full lockdown. So can't complain too much right now.
Is it possible to substitute Polychromos with Faber-Castell Classics?
No, it's not the same. Sorry. Faber-Castell Classics are more comparable to a lot of your budget brands. They are nothing comparable to the Polychromos. It's just a different. The Classics are like a student grade pencil. They're just not the same as your Polychromos at all.
Angie has asked if you could do a video on how to colour trees.
Yeah, that would be an interesting video to do. I haven't really... I think the bluey colouring page, if you watch that video, I said it in the video, is the first tree I ever coloured. So I probably need to practice a bit more, but once I get it down, yes.
And Drawfully Fun has donated $5.
Oh, thank you. Thank you to everyone who's actually done those little donations. That's a nice little bonus we sort of we weren't really expecting during the streaming. But that's nice. It's really nice that you guys actually consider that this is worth anything in that sense. We really just wanted to use this as an opportunity to hang out. So that's a really just nice bonus way of supporting our channel. And I really appreciate that. In the same way to everyone else, thank you so much for showing up. And thank you to everyone who has ever liked or commented on any of our videos, even just watching them. When you watch our videos, when you comment on them, when you like them, and when you subscribe, it tells YouTube that our stuff's interesting enough to show everyone else. Sorry, excuse me for a sec. It tells YouTube that our content is good enough to show everyone else. And it's actually those comments and likes in the last 2 weeks that YouTube's gone, hey, you guys are actually interesting. So, in the last few weeks, our views have gone like just this upward hill. And so all of a sudden, instead of getting 100 subscribers a day, we're in the last 2 weeks getting like 500 a day, which is kind of scary, exciting for us. It's just crazy, right? But that only happens because of you guys that have been here since this small part of our journey, since the beginning, that have been supporting us in this time, that have been supporting us before we were some big famous art celebrity on YouTube. You guys are the ones that are going to help us get there, and the ones that are going to, and we appreciate that. And I really want to make sure that, you know, even when we do have 100,000 subscribers, that we don't forget you guys. And so we will always try to find a way to connect with you in a community sense. And the Facebook group is a great way to do that, because we can comment a little bit more close and personal, because eventually these chats will get crazier. I don't know if we'll always be able to reply to every chat. We'll see how we go.
Lygia has made a donation as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And Gail has asked if we're in Victoria or New South Wales. We're in Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria here.
What are your thoughts on layering?
I'm a bit confused by your question. I'm layering right now.
They've commented that same question about 30 times, so they might have to get a bit of a timeout.
You might have to expand on that question. Layering is good. Why? I don't really understand. Layering is good. Yes. Yeah, okay.
Well,
They're gone. Good job, Shane.
I don't know what to say.
All right, so what I've just done here is I've used that darker 18. So I've actually still managed to stick within our color palette quite well. I wasn't sure if I was going to do that or not. I was expecting to use a few extra colors, but it's actually worked out well. This happens to have, well, I happened to have a darker and lighter of some of these colors accidentally. So these are the colors that I'll end up using probably down here when I do this. So I've just done these few little bits up here just to give you a taste of a different color. And we will finish up in a minute. I just want to do a little bit of a background before we do.
Nadia is here from Netherlands and is a big fan.
Hi, Nadia. The Netherlands, that's a very different part of the world to where we are.
Is layering better than blending?
It's different, and it depends on the set of pencils you have. Polychromos will work much better with layering. Prismacolor, you use layering and blend. Like, you use layering for the first bit, and then for the last layer you kind of blend together. It's all part of it. It's all, you use both techniques together. So okay, so what I'm going to do now is work out what I'm going to do on the background. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm not entirely sure. I would like to use a dark background. So this is going to bring in our black, but rather than doing everything black, I was kind of leaning towards creating almost some lighting, like, but very subtle. I don't really know how I'm going to do this, to be completely honest. So let's just wing it. I reckon we'll bring in the pink and the yellows again, but probably because it's on black, we'll probably use the orange. Let's just do that. And the dark, no, let's do pink and then use that as an edge.
Quick question from Angel, sorry, because she got lost in all the spam comments.
Yep.
Do you have a video on the outline drawings? I was interested in your picture ideas and how you achieve the 3D depth effects before colouring.
Of this picture, I think we're talking about. Not really. I have one picture of how to draw, but it's more aimed at florals and banners. I've never really talked about this kind of drawing. It might be something I'll look at in the future, but because my channel's mostly about colouring, it's not something I have like immediate plans to do. But I mean, look, as my channel grows, I'll always be looking at finding more ways to just show people how to get creative. It's just a thing of time. So I don't think it'll be something I'll be working on anytime soon, if I'm being honest. Just because I have so many colouring based ideas that are probably going to take up the next year. So what I'm doing here, just so that you guys see, what I'm thinking is doing like just kind of coloured spots around. So I'm going to use my lightest color first, which in this case I'm doing a pink one. Then I'm sort of in circle motion, just light layer, then going into my darker color. And then I'm going to blend that into a black. So I'm just kind of here going around in circles, just into my light layer. And again, I'm just doing a light layer first, and then we'll go over this in another layer afterwards. And then I'm going to go with the black. Okay. I've never done this before. We're winging it. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll work. We'll see.
Topaz is asking if you have any tutorials or pencils you recommend for beginners.
I do have a video that talks about my recommended coloured pencils, and I did have in that some suggestions for beginners. I guess a lot of it depends on what your budget is as well. I think some of the budget brands that I've recently done, so this and the Brute Funas are really good for beginners. Otherwise, I actually personally like Prismacolors for beginners, but I know some people don't think that's a good beginner pencil because it does take a little bit of a different technique. But the reason I recommend that and why I'd recommend some of these ones, for a beginner, you want something that lays down a lot of pigment, and I would recommend something that probably, actually, these aren't wax-based, but I would recommend a wax-based pencil over an oil-based pencil because they'll be easier to blend. So an Arteza pencil, now I don't know if it's actually pronounced Arteza or Arteza, but an Arteza pencil is another one that I think, and that's what I said to Shane to use because he's a beginner. I said to Shane to use the Arteza pencils because they feel a little bit more like a normal pencil compared to a Prismacolor, but they also allow you to blend the colors together a bit more easily, and therefore they are a good one for a beginner because you can learn those experience techniques, you get a better quality pencil, but it's not so advanced and it's not too hard to learn. It doesn't have a huge learning curve. Hope that makes sense.
Maddie is asking what your background is. Are you a teacher or were you a teacher?
I don't really have any art-related background actually, at all. I've done a lot of random things in my background that are completely unrelated to any of this. I even did kids' parties as a clown at one time. So yeah, no art background, everything's self-taught. So I'm just going, now everyone's going to be asking a whole lot more questions about that. I'm just going over again a few more layers here, and you can start to see now, you can see that blend between that light pink through to that dark black. And just by doing a lot of light layers, you can really make adjustments, and it's a lot more forgiving when you do it in light layers. And hopefully you can start to see that effect that I was trying to create. It will come to life a lot more when I get to sort of that final layer, but then I don't want to go too heavy until I've sort of created a bit more of the background. But hopefully you can start to see what I'm trying to achieve there in just creating some different lights around. Can you guys kind of see?
Did you print this picture on a laser or inkjet printer?
This is on a laser printer. The problem with inkjet I've found is that sometimes the ink can run with, I don't know about with pencils, but to be honest, we just have this printer. We've not gone out. I actually want to go and buy a specific printer, but we've not actually gone out and looked for the best printer. I know a lot of people ask me for recommendations on printers, and I don't have recommendations because it's not something we've looked into yet. So it's something that at some point we'll go and we'll do the research and we'll find a really good printer, and then hopefully we can relay that information for everyone asking.
Now it looks like we've had a donation all the way from Japan, and
wow.
I'm going to let you
now it's
name.
Thiago, right? Now my computer's just gone flat, so I've just lost it. But I think it's Thiago. I hope I'm saying it right because Thiago's actually, thank you. Thiago's actually one of our amazing Facebook group members, and he's very active on our channel. And so thank you, Thiago, from Japan. Thank you always, and thank you always for all the colour and happiness you bring to our lives, and of course for the amazing techniques and tips you share with us. Hope you reach your channel goals soon. Thank you so much. And please tell me if I've said your name right, because it's really embarrassing if I haven't. Yeah. Let's put that back over there so it's not on camera. But yes, my computer battery just died. Sorry, guys. Okay, I think, can you see what I'm sort of doing here? It's sort of gonna, it's kind of like a glowing light in the background here. And then most of the background will be black except for a few glowing lights. I don't really know what the point of the glowing lights was. I kind of just wanted to try it. That sometimes I just do that. You know, why not? Just a fun, being creative, trying something new. And I thought the colors will work with the colors here. I might even, you guys will have to tell me, should I stick to this color palette or do I bring a blue in the background? I'm tempted. Should I do it? Should I bring in some blue? What do you think? Some blue lights to go with our pink. I'm going through a really big phase at the moment of blue and pink lights. I really like blue and pink lights together, which you might have noticed from my coloring planner promo video. I'm having a little bit of a slight obsession with blue and pink lights lately. So tell me what you think if I should. I won't do it now because we're finishing up our live, but I will have a look at your thoughts, whether we stray from the color palette, because of course that is inspiration. It's not a rule we have to be locked into, or whether we, I'm going to leave this here for the sake of our live today, and we're going to finish up. You will see the rest of this in Friday's video. But please let me know, should we bring some blue in, or should we be true to the color palette and stick with the colors that we have? If there are no more questions, we will finish up. The black looks like navy. That might just be because of the color of the screen, but I think that's all good. So thank you so much for joining me. If I didn't get to your question, feel free to keep asking them, or maybe wait until the live ends and then ask them on the actual video comments, because the live comments and the video comments are separate. I don't know where the live comments go after the live finishes. I think they just kind of pop away to a different spot. But if you ask any extra comments in the comments of the video, I will come and I will find them and I will try to answer them at some point in the next few days. I usually am on the comments pretty frequently, so as long as you're nice, I will answer your comments. Please also, while you're around, make sure that you do actually like this video. I know sometimes it's easy to forget when you're watching the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please press that subscribe button because it helps me so much. We are very, very close to hitting 50,000 subscribers, and it has been growing like crazy the last week or so. So I really think that we actually might get there by the end of the week. So if you haven't already, head to sarahrenaeclark.com/win. Pop in your name into the 100K giveaway, because we are going to do a halfway to 100K prize where I will draw one name from everyone who has entered. There are no other eligibility rules except for getting your email address in. Obviously, the normal terms and conditions apply based on what is on our website in terms of eligibility criteria, ages and stuff like that. So that does apply, but in terms of, you don't have to get any bonus points. It's not a top 100. Everyone who has an email address in is going to be in the draw, and I will be giving away a set of 60 Polychromos, Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, which is half of the grand prize because it's the halfway prize. So I'm very excited about that. We will announce the winner when we get to the 50K very soon. It's very exciting. I can't believe how quickly we've got here from the 15K when we first announced that whole giveaway only like 5 months ago, I think it was. I mean, this whole channel officially we started less than a year ago. It was September 3rd. So it has grown really quickly. And I know from here, at the rate that it's starting to grow the last 2 weeks, I really think that we still will get to the 100,000 by December. But I would love your help in just spreading the word. So if you've got a video you like, go and share it in a Facebook group, or just, there's actually a share button on every video. So when you share it, it totally helps so much. Leave comments on your favorite videos. That really helps as well, pressing that like button. Everything you do, every time you watch a video to the end, YouTube goes, oh, people like this stuff, and YouTube shows it to a bigger audience, which does attract more trolls, admittedly, but I'm okay with that, because if that means it's reaching a wider audience, it also attracts a whole lot more people that then find me and that join our community. And that's really what it's all about. So I think that's it. Please jump on Friday's video to check out the end result of this page. I'm sorry that I didn't get much further today, but that's a reality. A lot of these pages do actually take me now about 6 to 7 hours just because I do stop and put the detail in. You don't have to do that much detail on a coloring page, but I find that the more I enjoy it, the more I take my time, and that's kind of become a bit therapeutic for me. So I will post the final picture as a part of this week's full review, including more details about these pencils, which are the Markart and the Nyoni pencils. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for joining me for this live stream. I had a lot of fun. And if you'd like to do this again, please let me know in the comments on the video, not the live comments. Go ahead to the full comments, and I'll see you maybe another time. Thanks, guys.